Dallas's home woes continued on Wednesday, a 4-2 loss to San Jose that featured a pair of red cards. With just one win at Toyota Stadium in MLS play this season, Dallas hopes to turn things around tonight in the second of a 3-game residency in Frisco. Standing in the Toros' way is San Diego FC, who handled business 5-0 in the first meeting between these clubs at Snapdragon Stadium. Its potential for revenge tonight as FC Dallas hosts San Diego FC for the first time in Frisco. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. On tonight's presentation, we'll have an update on the FC Dallas second team. That's North Texas Soccer Club. Your broadcast team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me to break down the important tactics and storylines for tonight's matchup. But first, we welcome into the show. He is the FC Dallas Insider. You can find his fine work on FCDallas.com. And, of course, he's one-third of the FC Dallas agenda heard on the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed. It is Garrett Meltzer. It feels like we just saw each other, mainly because we just did about 4 days ago.
That's the nature of these double game weeks, Sam, but thanks for having me again.
Oh, of course, we're always glad to have you. And, boy, we're glad to put Wednesday on our rearview mirror because there wasn't much good in that game. A pair of red cards, a loss against San Jose, and just continued bad vibes here at home. Can't get worse after that, can it?
Well, let's hope not, because you're right. That was a really demoralizing defeat, waiting 90 minutes or an hour or so because of the rain delay, and then playing a really good 45 minutes, taking the lead, but then it all kind of came crashing down in the second half, and 2 red cards for FC Dallas in one game hasn't happened since 2014, of course, affects the lineup tonight. So that was a rough one, and hopefully it's only where but up from here.
And the first time 2 straight reds have ever been issued in an FC Dallas game, which is a very dubious record to have. Well, the players trying to avoid that and get things turned around tonight for FC Dallas. It's Martin Paz in net, Marco Farfan, Lalas Abubakar, Alvaro, and Shaq Moore on the back line. Nolan Norris, Sebastian Lachette, and Patrickson in the midfield. Lucho Acosta, Peter Musa, and Bernard Kamungo. And obviously, we talked about those suspensions. One of those is Sebastian Ibiaga. He is out tonight. Lalas Abubakar returns from his red card suspension, but he gets big duty as him and Alvaro are going to be on the same back line. And that's a big ask. Of those 2 defenders, who's going to be the more important one tonight for FCD?
Well, considering Alvaro has only played 2 MLS games so far, it's got to be Lalas Abubakar. He's a veteran back there. He's going to be expected to be the anchor of that back line and do a lot of the communicating. And this is a huge test tonight because San Diego FC is the front runners in the West. They score a lot of goals. This is a big test for Lalas Abubakar. The thing is, he's played generally pretty well for FC Dallas since joining as a free agent, but this is going to be the biggest test because he's going to be expected to really take responsibility for that back line and command things from back there.
Yeah, he's definitely getting trial by fire here in game number 3. Also back into the 11 tonight is Nolan Norris, the Dallas homegrown, who's played at left back this year. Gets his first start at the defensive midfield spot due in part to Ramiro's injury and Kaike's suspension. And we've seen Nolan do really well at left back when he's been deputized too. Now he shifts inside and to the right a little bit. What should we expect from the Dallas homegrown?
Yeah, speaking of big tests for Lalas Abubakar, this is maybe an even bigger one for Nolan Norris because, like you said, he's played very well at left back. He finally broke into the first choice 11 for this team after really 3 years of kind of being in and out and playing mostly MLS Next Pro. But left back, he's much more comfortable there. That's where he played growing up in the Dallas Academy. That's where he looked so promising. And that's typically where he's played for the U.S. men's national youth teams as well. So now moving into the defensive midfield position, he's played there before about 4 times in MLS, but most of those were over 2 years ago now. So it's going to be a big test for him. The good thing is, stylistically, he's a very, very good passer. He's strong in the tackle, as we know. He loves the yellow card. The one thing is he does lack a little bit of speed and athleticism in there. So that's something that Dallas is going to have to watch for and maybe compensate for with the other midfielders around him.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's Sebastian Lachette and Patrickson ahead of him. And we all know about Sebastian Lachette. The guy is just smooth as the other side of the pillow when he gets in there. But Patrickson had a really good game on Wednesday despite the result, and we're starting to feel like see him come into his own a little bit playing as that kind of roaming 8. Yeah,
I think that was his best performance of the season. Last season he had a lot of good outings kind of as a more advanced midfielder, sometimes even kind of a left winger. But this year, he's been in and out of the lineup, oftentimes kind of coming off the bench. But what I really liked about his performance last game was how much ground he covered. I think that's his biggest asset. He's super athletic. He's got a great engine on him. Just sometimes he doesn't know, how to use lose it. I think he looked a little bit more assured, especially in his defensive awareness and defensive positioning, and that's going to be really, really crucial tonight without a natural defensive midfielder in there because, like we said, Nolan Norris moving over from left back. But yeah, another big test for a player who's still quite young as well.
Well, Sebastian Lletget will probably obviously have to be a big-time communicator in there, which we know he can do, being bilingual, able to speak English and Spanish. Well, we got a new name in the 20 tonight. Obviously, Josh Torquato making his second appearance in it due to the depth concerns. But it's Sam Sarver time for the main squad. He gets an emergency call-up from NTSC. He's a forward. He was selected 41st in the Super Draft this past year out of Indiana. You could have guessed either Indiana or Oregon State and probably been correct. But he's got 9 goals on the season with NTSC. It's a little bit of a surprise. What should we expect from this draft pick here for Dallas?
Well, in terms of expectations, I would be a little bit surprised if he does see the field because he's only played 13 times at the professional level and all MLS Next Pro. He's got 9 goals. Like you said, 5 of those are penalties, but still a really impressive season so far for the young rookie. He's super direct. He loves to run at players. He's not afraid to shoot, so kind of a like for Anderson Julio, who he's kind of filling in for because of the injury to Julio. But I wouldn't expect to see him unless Dallas is really needing a goal in the last 15 minutes or so. But it would be interesting to see him because he's played really, really well in MLS Next Pro, and he's got an eye for goal, that's for sure.
Is this more of an indication, too, because we see Nolan Norris, we see Alvaro, we see Torquato, we see Sarver, we've even got Diego Garcia and Anthony Ramirez in the team tonight for FC Dallas, that, for all the other things we can talk about what Eric Quill is doing or not doing, he really is committing more to that youth movement of development through NTSC and just developing academy players.
For sure, and some of that's needs must because of injuries and suspensions. But look, 10 of the 20 players in this squad have played for North Texas before. That's a really impressive number, and it speaks to the talent pipeline that FC Dallas has cultivated over the last almost 20 years now since the academy was formulated. Of course, the club got a little bit away from that under the previous regime in the last 3 years, but it's no surprise that Eric Quill would want to dip his toe back into that, knowing that he also coached North Texas to a title a couple years ago. So it's really good to see that pipeline back into full effect here.
I couldn't agree more with that. Well, tonight the opponent is San Diego FC. They make their first trip to Frisco, and what's going to be a pretty hot afternoon/evening for the crew, what they call the Chrome and Azul, I believe is what we're going with these days. It's hard to know what exactly it is. But their results can't lie. They're top of the West. They're scoring a lot of goals. They're not allowing a lot of goals. And, of course, the last time these two teams met, they won 5-0 at Snapdragon Stadium. As we look towards the sequel here, how does Dallas try to get a little bit of revenge for that loss out in the West Coast?
I think they'll definitely be having revenge on their mind because that was a weird game. Now, I'm not saying FC Dallas should have won or even drawn, but I don't think it should have been 5. There were some strange goals, a soft penalty. But in terms of how you play against this team, you soak up pressure and you hit on the break. You're not going to outpossess this team. You're not going to outpass this team. They've got some of the highest passing numbers in almost every category in this league. And really, a former FC Dallas head coach, Nico Esteves, now in Austin, kind of laid the blueprint for this one a couple months ago. They won 2-1 in Austin with 23% possession. So that's easier said than done, but what you got to do is be really defensively solid, cut passing lanes as much as you can, try to get pressure on the ball once they get into your half, and then look to hit on the counter with some speed.
Well, Dallas has had good luck with lack of possession this year, specifically on the road. Maybe they can duplicate that here at Toyota Stadium. That is Garrett Meltzer, who always has 100% possession. You can find his fine work on FCDallas.com. Find him on all the socials. And, of course, you'll hear him along with Steve Davis on our halftime coverage. Garrett, thank you so much. We'll talk to you in a little while.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
When we return here on the FC Dallas Pregame Show, we'll have an update on North Texas Soccer Club. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Logan Farrington, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show as we're getting you ready for FC Dallas versus San Diego FC, and that is presented tonight by Toyota. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me. We'll break down the lineups, the tactics, everything you need to know about tonight's Western Conference showdown. And while we have a moment, let me remind you about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, which is your hub for everything FC Dallas. Of course, the postgame show is there. You've got, an instant analysis, highlights, stats, everything you need to recap the game that was in 30 minutes or less. Those go live pretty much as soon as they're done. At the very least, when you're in your drive Monday morning or Sunday morning, whenever we have games, you'll have that recap there. The FC Dallas postgame show, a constant since 2022. But starting this year, the FC Dallas Agenda has joined the family. That's a weekly show hosted by Ryan, Steve, and Garrett. You get game analysis, game previews, interviews, great stuff every single week. Just this past week, we had on Mark Followell. We've had Eric Quill. We've had Leo Baldo. We've had Andre Zanata. We've got some really cool things cooking for that as well. So you don't want to miss it. And how do you not miss it? Go to your podcast provider of choice. It can be Apple, it can be Spotify, wherever you need to go. Type in FC Dallas Radio Network and then hit subscribe so you can get all of our great content for free $99. That's right. Totally free content on the FC Dallas Radio Network. Now let's go ahead and check in on the FC Dallas second team. They're the reigning MLS Next Pro champions, North Texas Soccer Club. Their last match came on the 21st of June. It was on the road at Vancouver Whitecaps 2, and it was unfortunately a 4-3 loss. They did get goals from two members of tonight's 20. That was Sam Starver and Josh Torquato. Right back Ian Charles also posted a goal in the loss. Despite that, NTSC still in playoff position in the Western Conference. They're fourth with 23 points. Sarver, as we mentioned in our first segment, the leading scorer for the squad. He has 9 goals. That's tied for second in MLS Next Pro. The leader is on 11. And a big announcement from NTSC just yesterday. They're going to play Deportivo Tapatio, which is a Liga MX expansion side in the MLS Next Pro Invitational. So what that is it takes the MLS Next Pro champions, which was North Texas SC, and they play against the Campeón de Campeones, the Liga BBVA Expansion Liga MX. That's basically the MLS Next Pro of Liga MX. And they're going to do kind of like a co-branded showdown. Think of like the Community Shield or something of that nature. That match is going to be held right here at Toyota Stadium, Saturday, July 26th at 7:30. If you want to get tickets, go to ntsctix.com, or you can watch it for free on MLSNextPro.com. Again, that's Deportivo Tapatio from Liga MX Expansión. But if you want to just see regular MLS Next Pro action for the club, July 3rd, right before the July 4th game, they're going to be at home hosting Minnesota United 2. Kickoff for that one slated for 7:45 at Choctaw Stadium. Of course, ntsctix.com, or you can watch it on MLS Season Pass via Apple. When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join us to break down tonight's matchup. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the World of WinStar.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Leggett, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show, presented tonight by Toyota. We've got just under 25 minutes until kickoff from Toyota Stadium, so let's go ahead and get you tonight's starting lineups, which this evening they are brought to you by Advocare. Let's start first with the visiting San Diego FC and first-year manager Mikey Vargas. It's CJ Dos Santos in net for San Diego, Luca Bombino, Ian Pilcher, Christopher McVeigh, and Oscar Verhoeven on the back line. Yepes Verkov, Omni Valakari, and Manu Dua in the midfield there. A very difficult announcers trio there. It's Alex Mighton, Bill Anilowski, and Andre Stryer up top for the Chrome and Azul. And now let's bring you the starting 11 for FC Dallas and first-year manager Eric Quill.
Marta Paz, goalkeeper, University of Amsterdam.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Álvaro, center back from Brazil.
Lalas Abubakar, central defender, University of Dayton.
Marco Farfan, left back from Portland, Oregon.
Nolan Norris, midfielder, Fort Worth, Texas.
Sebastian Leggett, center midfield, San Francisco, California.
Patrickson, mediocampista, Ecuador.
Bernard Camungo, I'm a winger, and I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Luciano Costa, midfielder, I'm from Argentina.
Petar Musa, forward, from Zagreb, Croatia.
And the bench tonight for Dallas, Leo Chu, Siki Sabling, Pedrinho, Logan Farrington, Josh Torquato, Sam Sarver, Michael Colodi, Diego Garcia, and Anthony Ramirez. And now we bring in our commentary team for the evening. It's Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. And Ryan, I approached it this way with Garrett in the first segment. I'll kind of approach it with you. It can't really get much worse than what happened on Wednesday, as we left here very dejected after a red card-filled loss. But it's got to be up from here even against San Diego, right?
I mean, that's one way to frame it. Certainly, you're hosting, a red-hot team that's top of the Western Conference. I think if you look at it from that standpoint, they just went to Vancouver, put 5 goals on them, really won that game comfortably, and that's missing key components for their team. I mean, this team, they're new, obviously, an expansion side this year, but they don't have an academy up and running yet. They don't have a second team, so they don't have any depth to dip into like FC Dallas has been able to do with those injuries and suspensions. They don't even have a full bench tonight, and that includes having 2 goalkeepers. So if you want the optimistic side, they are pretty depleted by injuries, international duty, and a big travel from Vancouver on Wednesday. So if you want to look at the optimistic side of hosting the best team potentially in MLS right now, maybe that's it.
I would add to that not only is it a long trip from Vancouver, but if you look at the last 2 wins, one of them was a couple of weeks ago over Minnesota, the one over Vancouver the other night, those are the teams right below them in the standings. Those are statement wins. To go on the road to win at Minnesota and win by multiple goals, to go on the road, win it at Vancouver, having a terrific season up there in British Columbia, to win that one by multiple goals. Then to have a big trip into hot Texas, maybe you can catch them just a little bit less focused, a little bit, I don't want to say dispirited, but maybe they're not quite as motivated to come out here in the heat and play this one.
Maybe they just kicked so much cheek, they're going to be tired from that regard.
Yeah, one thing that comes to mind to me is Dallas actually has a really good home record against LAFC. When we go to LAFC, it's never been a happy evening. But when LAFC comes here, I feel like we sometimes get that sort of, it's not a huge game for them, and the heat and everything, it just seems to always be in the heat of summer. So maybe we could have a similar effect with the newest edition of a California MLS team coming to town tonight.
Before we dig into the nitty-gritty here, Steve, one thing we talked about a little bit on the post-game show, but I wanted to bring forward here, is I think this is an opportunity to learn a lot about the squad that's out there. There's some individual players that we'll focus on, but you just got beaten. You had just a really demoralizing home loss. You're in bad form. This is a chance to respond, and hopefully we see a response from this team. And I think either way will be telling about this squad.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I would posit that every match is, unless you're just talking about friendlies or preseason, every match is an opportunity to learn something. And you're right. Look, I sort of subtract it out of that file, and I've just put it squarely in a file of this team is desperate for home wins. This team has not won a home game since March. Every game out here now, that it's a 3-game homestand, right? And you just got to find a way to get 4 points, very minimum, out of these next two, considering you didn't get any points out of the first one at the 3-game homestand. So I think of it like this: every game is an opportunity to learn, but this one may be right, maybe just a little bit more there.
Well, if they're going to succeed tonight, it's going to have to be in spite of some depth issues, and that's in center back. Noah Sazier-Aguirre, he's out with injury. Noah Sebastian Ibiaga, he's out with red card suspension. That means tonight, Ryan, it's Alvaro getting his 3rd straight start, and Lalas Abubakar, who's coming back from his own red card suspension. That's a duo we haven't seen play at all this year. What do you think is reasonable to expect from a pair of center backs that have not shared an MLS field yet?
Yeah, they had 10 minutes at the end of the last game together, and that's it to speak of. So it's going to be learning on the fly. Obviously, they will have trained together plenty because the first choice pairing this year has been Ibiaga and Urquide. The second team has often been in training Alvaro and Lala. So they do have reps on the training field together, but can that chemistry carry over into a game like this? And in the stage that is, Dallas desperate for a home win, eyes on this game because you're hosting the best team in the Western Conference, and the pressure that the likes of an Andres Dreyer can put on you with his creative movement across the field, the way he interprets space, the way he can go one way or the other. I think that's going to be a lot down to Marco Farfan on the left, but also whether it's Alvaro or Lawless on the left of the two center backs, can they support Marco against one of the league's best players?
Well, and also say that Dreyer will drift inside a lot, sort of to orchestrate possession in there. So it's going to be a lot of communication in midfield as far as passing him off and understanding where he is. And, as far as the two center backs, Sam, both of those guys, Ibiaga and Alvaro, they're all heart. They're all passion. You will never fault them for that. I mean, we know that about Abubakar, and I think we've learned that in 2 games with Alvaro and the passion he plays with. So there's a chance that they really stand up tonight. And the problem is, they're both just a little bit mistake prone, and one mistake can really sort of crater the whole thing. So you just hope that passion and that energy comes through, and they just really sort of reel by on that.
Yeah, we talked about Dreyer, but I think we have to mention Milan Olaski. I mean, he's starting up front for San Diego FC, and he's come out of absolutely nowhere. California native, currently on loan from FC Nordsjælland, who is the partner club for San Diego FC in Denmark. They have the same ownership. And they brought in Olaski, who was a really prolific player in the USL Championship, but never broke through for Real Salt Lake in Major League Soccer across 2 seasons. And, now he's the leader in goals per 90 minutes, and it's not even close in Major League Soccer. 9 goals in just under 300 minutes, basically averaging a hat trick a game. He does only have 1 start on the season, but that was last game, and he scored 4 goals. So he's absolutely red hot, and he's pretty much a relative unknown compared to some of the star strikers that come through here that are in the twilight of their career. This is a guy breaking out onto the scene, and how they can contain him, how they can even find enough tape to really break down his game, I don't even know. But this is a player on a generational heater that they're going to have to look out for.
He's a lot more known now than it was a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely. Reigning player of the match day.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not even mentioning Chucky Lozano, who's on the bench tonight for San Diego. We'll have to deal with that late. That'll probably be our halftime discussion. But speaking of the midfield, Steve, you talked about passing off and things like that. They're going to have to do it a little bit patchwork tonight. Nolan Norris is the 6. He's got Sebastian Lletget and Patrickson ahead of him. And Sebastian Lletget did, I think, a yeoman's work at the 6 the last 2 games. But seeing him back at his native 8 next to Patrickson, and seeing Nolan, who's a little bit more defensive-minded at 6, I think makes us all feel a little bit better about what they're going to run out tonight.
Yeah, it does me. Look, I like the change. Let's talk about knock-on effect. Because here's what happens. You really only made 1 change in the midfield, but you got 2 players in better positions that better fit their player profile. So Nolan Norris, I know he hasn't played a lot of holding defensive midfield, what we call a 6 in his career, but he's more tailor-made for that spot. He's played it some. He started MLS games at that spot. Sebastian, so that puts him in a better spot. Sebastian Lletget gets into his better spot, which is a little further up the field as more of a box-to-box guy. And then Patrick Delgado, I think he had maybe his best game the other day. He was just an absolute workhorse. But the knock-on there is having a natural holding midfielder in front of those two center backs that we just talked about. I think that's going to help them. Having Lletget further up the field, I think it's going to help put Lucho Acosta, Pedro Musa, and Bernie Kamungo into better spots as he connects back to front. So that's the knock-on effect that I hope we see tonight.
And it's worth noting Nolan did play some center back with North Texas SC during their title run, so he knows how to handle that kind of centrally defensive. While it may not be experienced as a 6, he knows how to handle at least that portion of the field. Speaking of North Texas, there's a name that pops up there. Of course, Josh Torquato gets his second appearance with the first team because of depth issues. But Ryan Sam Sarver also gets called up. He's the leading scorer for North Texas with 9 goals. He's the second leading scorer in all of MLS Next Pro with that total. No Anderson Julio tonight, so they call it the super draft pick. And Garrett Melso said maybe not expect much in the way of play time, but it's an interesting choice to bring him up to take the place of Anderson Julio.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't think Josh Torquato expected to get any time at Kansas City, and so that is, for Sam to be ready and mentally prepared to come into this game if they need him. I mean, right now the wing depth with Anderson Julio gone is Bernard Kamungo in to start, Leo Chu on the bench, and then Sam Sarver. In terms of attacking options, you've also got Logan Farrington there, but I don't think he's that far down the roster to where if this game is one that Dallas is chasing late on, he might get minutes. What I can tell you about him, he's a hard runner. He's a very hard worker. I mean, he, to me, typifies an Eric Quill player in terms of his work rate on and off the ball. He's a captain and a leader for North Texas SC. 5 of his 9 goals have come from the penalty spot. That is something to note. But he does also win a lot of those penalties for the team with his hard work, never giving up on a loose ball, making runs in behind. He does have genuine pace that I think is fit for this level of soccer. Is his technique at the standard? If we see him tonight, we'll find out.
Well, let's talk about San Diego, who has definitely been the league standard this year. They're number 1 in the Western Conference on this one. They're 1 goal behind San Jose for the leading scoring in the Western Conference, and that's after a 5-goal outburst against Vancouver. Now, they are not undefeated away from home. They're 5-4-0. They're better at Snapdragon than they are on the road.
That's how it is for most teams. I guess it's just not around here.
Yeah, I'm not used to that. That's a new thing, I guess. The whole being great on the road and being good at home. I'm not used to that. But, Steve, obviously we saw this team once before, and it was very unpretty. But I think, and we can all reasonably think, it's going to look a little bit different tonight due to just game situation, the fact that Dallas is playing a little bit more of a familiar formation. At least we hope.
Yeah, well, we hope it looks different tonight. Look, Dallas actually started pretty well against San Diego. They sort of pressed high, which they weren't supposed to do, but it was sort of working. They were creating some turnovers and getting some chances off of it, but you don't put those chances away. Things happen at the other end. That's exactly what happened. Then Dallas had to press a little bit, and San Diego started getting behind them, absolutely shredded them, and it's Eric Quill keeps referencing that's the one time that he was really disappointed just with how everything unfolded this year for his team. So, look, San Diego, they are dedicated to building out. They're dedicated to high press. It's what they do. You have to respect the fact that they've chosen what they want to do, and they're sticking to it. Even when they give up a couple of times in possession, like they did against Dallas, they said, nope, we're going to keep building out. That's what we do. And they're pretty good at it, and they're also very good at transition. When they invite you out, if they invite you up the field, they will shred you in transition. They're really good at that.
And I'm interested because if Dallas does opt to come out and put pressure, higher up the field, this is not the same San Diego roster that was in that 5-0 game. I mean, Dallas has plenty of changes from that game as well, but just in the center back pairing, Ian Pilcher's in. He's a 21-year-old super draft pick from this year. 2 18-year-old fullbacks in midfield. You've got a player making his first start after only having 1 career minute in Manu Dua. Sverkov is an all-star. He's really, really effective in the pivot as the holding midfielder, and Valicari's been good for them as well. But besides that, the rest of their defensive unit outside of Christopher McVeigh is very inexperienced, and maybe, they're mistake-prone. They have been. Even with their starting lineup out there, they've created the 4th most mistakes, leading to opponent shots in Major League Soccer this year. There may be moments to press, and if so, can Dallas turn that into opportunities?
Oni Valicari, of course, the son of Simo Valicari, who played here and kicked the ball to me one time when I was out there as the first kick guest for some reason.
That's legacy right there. That is legacy.
I don't even know how to respond, except I guess I'll just say, let's get to tonight's keys to the match, which are presented this evening by Toyota, and we'll go to Simu Valakari's best friend, Steve Davis.
Thank you. Simu was a good dude, man.
Not saying he wasn't.
Number one, limited pressing tonight because San Diego, I just said they're dedicated to building out, so they want you to come press them. I know that's not the plan tonight because if they get behind you, they will absolutely shred you in transition, so they can't press a lot tonight. Number two, I know they're going to set up in this sort of mid-block, so once they do create some turnovers, FC Dallas, in places where they want to create those turnovers, get vertical fast. Get in behind them fast. Don't let them get back and get set because they do a pretty good job of getting back in transition and transition defense, so get vertical fast. Number three, you got to be physical but be smart because you want to be physical. You want to make this an uncomfortable place for them. You have to foul sometimes, but foul in good places. Be aggressive in the right places, and they have to stop taking bad cards, yellow cards and red cards, killing this team at home right now, and those are your keys presented by Toyota.
Thank you, Steve Davis. I couldn't agree more, especially when coming off 2 red cards in a single game, straight reds, no less. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's FC Dallas pregame show. When we return, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for this one. It's FC Dallas versus San Diego FC, the first time the Chrome and Azul have come into Toyota Stadium. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Marta Paz, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Well, we are officially into the heat of the summer in Frisco, Texas, where tonight FC Dallas hosts the red-hot leaders of the Western Conference, San Diego FC. Revenge surely on the mind for the Burn, who were dismantled 5-0 against the league's newest team on the West Coast back in May. That may add some extra spice to this matchup, but really, there should be no need for extra motivation. This team is truly desperate for a marquee home result, something to get back to the fans who have rode this roller coaster of a season so far with them here in 2025. I'm Ryan Figert. Alongside me, Steve Davis here on the FC Dallas Radio Network as the teams enter the pitch here at Toyota Stadium. And Steve, this one should be interesting. I'm particularly interested in San Diego coming off of 2 huge results against top teams in the Western Conference, but a lot of travel, a hot day today, and not a lot of depth for the visitors. It's particularly looking at the bench. They don't even have a full bench available tonight. I'm sure Mikey Varas, the coach, former assistant coach here under Lucha Gonzalez, I'm sure he would have preferred after that big statement win in Vancouver. A lot of travel, hot day. I'm sure he would have preferred to rotate the lineup just a little bit more, but he just didn't have that luxury, as you said. Yeah, no real bodies left in midfield. They're bringing in Manu Dua to start for the first time, the 19-year-old out of Ghana, who was the first overall pick in the 2025 draft. They've got another rookie in there, Ian Pilcher in the back line, who was also drafted by San Diego this year. And Dallas dipping into their depth as well, but they have that more robust academy and second-team system to rely on. And that includes Josh Torquato, Sam Sarver in the 20 today, Nolan Norris in the starting 11 in midfield in front of Alvaro, who's gotten time with North Texas this year. North Texas SC all over this starting 11 and matchday roster for Dallas. Historically, very good against expansion teams. They've won 18 of their 23 matches all time at home against expansion sides, but this is not your normal expansion side in Major League Soccer. San Diego leading the Western Conference, scoring tons of goals along the way. This Dallas team rounding into form offensively. What does it look like at the back? A lot of questions to answer on the other side of this break. We are just moments away from kickoff here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. On the other side of this one, it's FC Dallas and San Diego FC.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Ibiaga. Tonight's FC Dallas match is up next, right here on the FC Dallas app.
Well, thankfully, after Wednesday, it is clear skies at Toyota Stadium tonight. And that means the heat has come out in full force. Mid-90s here at kickoff in Frisco as the two teams high fives and handshakes at the halfway line with both sides and the refereeing crew tonight. Dallas in the red and blue, San Diego in their road all-white uniform for the chrome and azul, as they like to be known. The referees in a very fluorescent pink in the middle. Steve was remarking on their wardrobe a little bit earlier. It's Guido Gonzalez Jr., the referee in the middle. His 15th game of the season, 112th overall in the middle in Major League Soccer. Assisted tonight by Eric Weisbord, Justin Howard, fourth official Lorenzo Hernandez, and the VAR Kevin Terry Jr. The lineup being read out here over the PA at Toyota Stadium. And Steve, that lineup featuring Bernard Kamungo, who's a player that has had good moments this season. He's in there alongside Pedro Musa and Lucho Acosta. Thinking about losing Anderson Julio and his ability to stretch the field, what is it going to take for Bernard to have a similar impact tonight in the starting 11?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good night for him to give it a good go because, as I mentioned a while ago, San Diego likes to play that high line. Bernard Kamungo, at his best, he gets in behind. So look for Acosta to try to find Bernard Kamungo over the top or in through the lanes today.
At the other side, Alvaro in there for his third straight start at center back for FC Dallas. He's got a new partner tonight in Lalas Abubakar with Ibiaga's suspension. How quickly can that relationship come along is really one of the main questions that they're going to have to answer tonight.
It better come along pretty quickly, Ryan, because Andres Dreyer over there on the right side, 20 goal contributions this year. I mean, he can pick out a pass. He can orchestrate. He starts right, but he drifts inside a lot to orchestrate from in there. But if he's out on the wing, man, he can hit a good ball into the center. So whatever they've got going together, whatever they can combine and do in combination, they got to get it going soon.
Matchup of first-year head coaches Eric Quill for FC Dallas, Mikey Vares, who spent some time here both in the academy and on the staff for Luchi Gonzalez for 3 seasons from 2018 to 2021 as an assistant. Went off with the U.S. youth national teams, and now he's getting his first full-time head coaching job after 1 game as the manager of the U.S. men's national team, and he'll probably never let you forget that one. But he's doing great things with this team. No matter who's been in the 11, their style of play has been evident, Steve.
Yeah, well, look, they've committed to a system that we talked about a little bit. You know, look, he would be, and he is actually a really good coach of the year candidate. I think things going on in Nashville and certainly up in Vancouver might have something to say about that. But right now, Mikey Vares doing a great job this year. With, as you said, you know, the DPs, they've hit on them really well, but they've also got a lot of young players, and they've done a good job of sort of mixing and matching. You look at a guy like Oni Valakari. I mean, he's played as a 10, he's played as a striker, he's played as an outside midfielder. So they've done a good job of just being able to sort of slot guys in wherever they've needed to, and that's a sign of a system that's really working.
Seems like to me they've brought together a group of players with something to prove that maybe didn't get opportunities elsewhere. Young players on loan from other MLS sides. It's not an approach that we've seen really in terms of squad building, particularly for an expansion side, but they've stuck to their brand, and so far it's been successful to the tune of 36 points and a place atop the Western Conference. Dallas look to knock them off that perch and get that marquee home win that they were looking for tonight, as we are just moments from kickoff at Toyota Stadium. Looks like it'll be San Diego to get us underway, and they'll move from left to right here in the first half as we watch on right to left for FC Dallas. Thank you so much for joining us here on the FC Dallas Radio Network, wherever you're listening, or if you're listening as you watch along on MLS Season Pass. We are awaiting the whistle to get the action started tonight.
You talk about how they've picked up some people who maybe weren't, who were deemed surplus at other places. Christopher McVeigh, good example, center back that was surplus at DCU and at Miami, and I think he's done a great job for San Diego this year.
We are underway as it's dropped back to McVeigh, and now he goes long and direct, looking for the man of the moment, Milan Ilaski. 9 goals in 290 minutes. Just an incredible heater for him. 4 goals in 12 minutes in his first ever MLS start at Vancouver on Wednesday. He wears the number 32 in the middle of the front line for San Diego tonight. Dallas go long. Shaq Moore launching it towards Kamungo. Header won by Bombino, young fullback on loan from LAFC. All the way back now to Dos Santos, who they scouted really for his ability with the ball at his feet, and he has not let them down in that regard. He's on the books at Inter Miami. Dallas pressing here in the 18-yard box, and Shaq Moore onto it quickly. Early cross is blocked behind for a corner. We wondered if Dallas would press, and they did here in the opening minute, leading to this corner kick. Yeah, you wonder if it's press early and then sort of drop back, because, man, it is hot. Although, as you said, temperatures, what you said, in low 90s. I mean, by July and August, we're going to be looking at this as the good old days. Yeah, absolutely. San Diego, they don't get this. They get sunny San Diego 70s. Week in, week out. Lucho Acosta will take this corner kick from the far side. Left arm raised. Out swinging service towards the near post. Musa flicks it along, and I think Dos Santos got a piece of it. No, it'll be a goal kick, but a well-worked set play as the two DPs look to connect here in the opening minute. You mentioned Dos Santos and ability to play with his feet, and he is good, but a couple of weeks ago up at Minnesota, he and McVeigh got a little confused with each other, and a real howler there as McVeigh just turned around at about 25 yards, tried to play it back to his goalkeeper Dos Santos, but didn't look and see where he was and just passed it right into his own net. It's a game of cat and mouse. San Diego inviting the pressure. Dallas camping out on the edge of the 18-yard box. They do now go chasing. McVeigh out to Verhoeven, the right back, and Manu Dua making his first start in Major League Soccer. Heavy touch for him, and Musa defending puts it out for a San Diego throw. Big moment for Manu Dua, as they're deep down the midfield depth chart. No Luca De La Torre, no Anibal Godoy. They're both away at the Gold Cup. They've moved it here from right to left out to Bombino, who will bring it forward on the far side. And Alvarado, who was the young player getting his opportunity in place of those two, got injured on Wednesday. As Bombino again forward up the left side now, defending is Shaq Moore. Back to Valakari. Grabbed a golden assist off the bench against Dallas in that 5-0 win for San Diego earlier in the season. Out to Dreyer, wide right, onto his left foot. Back to Dua. Big frame for Manu Dua, 6'3" in midfield. It's closed down here by Nolan Norris. Leggett goes chasing. McVeigh with 3 Dallas players around him finds the feet of Dua. Dua holding off Nolan Norris, goes down, and the whistle goes. First foul of the game committed by Nolan Norris. Buda Gonzalez calling somebody, Abubakar, over. I didn't see anything. I didn't either, Ryan. Must have been maybe away from the play. Dallas will set their line a couple yards outside the 18-yard box. This wide free kick here for Anders Dreyer. Lines it up for his favorite left foot. leading assist man in Major League Soccer with 12. Bends this one into the box. Nice flight on it. Headed away by Dallas out towards the corner flag on the far side. Dua picks it up. Bombino will send this ball in off his left foot. Abubakar wins the header. Out to Lucho Acosta, holding off his man. Acosta now with runners in the attack, puts it in behind. Bernie Kamungo here. Foot race to the ball with Verhoeven. Bernie Kamungo onto it. Verhoeven in retreat. Kamungo cuts back now and looks for options. His Dallas teammates joining him in the attack. And a chance of a one-on-one now gone, but Dallas with a nice back heel from Lucho make their way up the left side. Leggett trying to get to the end line like he did against Kansas City. Very similar situation. This time, McVeigh stands tall. Keeps it away from Leggett. And then Dreyer, fouled by Nolan Norris, will bring it into that attack.
Okay, so that's 2 fouls on Nolan Norris in the first 5 minutes. That was fine. But a minute ago, he probably fouled when he didn't need to. And that's why I'm saying, they've got to foul smart. Don't foul when you don't absolutely have to. One more, and I'm sure Guido Gonzalez will give him a little talking to.
Played 5 minutes, scoreless at Toyota Stadium. Dallas had their first goal in the first half of a home game all season long on Wednesday. San Diego have won every game in which they've led this season in Major League Soccer. And so that first goal is absolutely vital. Dua nearly had his pocket picked there by Lucho Acosta. But off of Acosta, it goes back to CJ Dos Santos to pick it up in goal.
The scary thing is this is setting up just like the game up at Snapdragon, where Dallas had some success in pressing up a little high early. They kept doing it, and then San Diego got it behind them.
Sverkov, recently named an MLS All-Star, hits a nice diagonal out to Verhoeven here on the near side. Dua. Back to McVeigh, now lifted over the top for the run of Martin. Martin Pass out off his line. We'll watch it behind for a goal kick.
So Sverkov just turned at about 10 yards inside the Dallas attacking half, and nobody pressured him. That can't happen. He can't let him just get his head up and try to drop a ball right over the back line like that. It just takes a little bit of pressure there.
He can certainly hit that pass. He's shown that. 31-year-old really shown well in his time so far with San Diego. Nolan Norris under pressure, turns and fires it out to Marco Farfan, who's fouled hard there by Dua. First foul against San Diego of the evening. Dallas goes short. Patrickson picks it up on the dribble now, moving from left to right in the middle of the field.
Now you sort of wonder what Patrickson's got tonight, because just Wednesday on another hot night, he was a real workhorse.
Alvaro volleying this one in behind. Awkward one to deal with. Musa challenging there with Pilcher. And Musa was offside. It was a bad ball back to Alvaro, and he's put his foot through it. Understandable after the way the last 10 minutes of the last game went for him. His response is going to be vital for Dallas tonight. Can he bounce back from that mistake and show the form that he's shown pretty much every moment outside of that mistake, which has been really, really solid for the young player. Another testing ball over the top, massively overhit by Dua, and Martin Pass will pick it up.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody minds Alvaro just putting his foot through it. Be safe, especially early. Maybe you play your way into the game a little bit, pick up some confidence, but nobody cares about him doing that. Everybody's fine with it.
Alvaro out to Moore. Patrickson. And Moore working it now back to Alvaro and back to Pass. Goes down by Eloski. Has Howardly had a touch for San Diego. Nice ball from Farfan. Finds space in the middle for Sebastian Leggett. Surveys his options, moving from left to right. Now out to Lucho Acosta in the right half space. He's got options ahead of him. Lucho Acosta on the dribble. Tries to drop it off on the return there for Petar Musa. Musa a little bit slow to get up as he lost his footing there. And he's walking back into formation, now jogging. As Dallas get back into shape. Defending the Hall of Fame end here in the first half tonight. Defending it with a line about 30 yards out in terms of this mid-block setup for Eric Quill. Mighton's got it on the far side. Finds a nice ball into the middle. Sverkov through the lines, couldn't connect, and it goes all the way through for a goal kick.
I got a little confused a minute ago because Nolan Norris, as he dropped into defensive shape, he dropped into left back. But Farfan was there, And I'm not sure if he was providing extra cover for somebody over there, or if he just forgot for a minute that he was playing holding defensive mid and not left back.
Well, showing Dreyer 2 defenders is not a bad idea.
It's not the worst.
Dallas goes short on their own goal kick now. Out to Alvaro. Chips it ahead to the feet of Kamungo. Set back for Patrickson. Now ahead to Lucho Acosta. Good one-touch football here through the lines for FC Dallas. Now Musa gets turned. Spots the overlapping run from Marco Farfan, who will bring it into the attacking half. Into Lucho. 1-2 with Petter Musa. Lucho here along the left side. Marco Farfan back to Nolan Norris. Norris now on the dribble, just not closed down here, brings it forward. And then I think he tried to lift it in behind for Musa, but Croatian didn't make the run that time.
Yeah, not the worst idea, though. I think he had the right idea. Maybe just got it a little too close to DeSantos.
Norris played as a holding midfielder for North Texas in the championship game here at Toyota Stadium, but this year largely has been the deputy left back for Marco Farfan. That's the position he grew up playing in the FC Dallas Academy since he was 12 years old.
He started some games under Nico, not a lot, but started some games at that defensive holding mid position.
That was the vision for him under Nico Estevez, was to become a holding midfielder. And right now for Eric Quill, he's really just the Swiss Army knife wherever they need him.
I think a couple of weeks ago he would have started, but essentially he was cover at he was the first sub at left back, center back, and holding mid, so they sort of needed him to stay on the bench for that.
San Diego with Bombino on the far side, into Oloski, laid back for Valicari. Now Sverkov over to Dua. Dua came through the University of California, San Diego. Ghanaian with connections to the right to Dream Academy. It was meant to be. He had to be their first overall pick. Still very raw, but getting his first start in MLS tonight. And had a nice turn there. Move it from right to left. Mike trying to use his speed to get around Shaq Moore. Shaq Moore not phased, easily gets in the way. Drops it off for Alvaro, who sends it clear.
Pretty slow pace so far, 12th minute. No big events inside of either goal area. Maybe Musa's header flashing by the back post off the corner kick. Closest anybody's come to scoring, and that wasn't particularly close.
Dreyer now dropping in, trying to influence the game, puts the ball in behind for Oloski. Abubakar there, Oloski forced wide right, and he puts the cross in, blocked by Abubakar, and it's behind for a corner.
I wonder if maybe somebody wanted it into an offside position there, but the linesman on this side didn't see it that way.
Everything's been falling right for Milan Oloski of late. Not afraid to shoot. Had 9 shots on his own against Vancouver, 4 of them finding the net. Dreyer in swinger from the near side, right on top of Martin Paz. Two-handed punch, and he's able to work it clear. Now Bombino shot from distance on the follow-up is way, way wide.
Nice job there by Martin Paz coming out every bit of 6, maybe 7 yards outside the goal and getting a big fist on it, 2 big fists.
Steve, interested at all that Dallas is trying to build out here in their own goal kicks, even with the new center back pairing and San Diego eager to press on the 18-yard box?
I am a bit interested in that.
Norris out to Alvaro.
Particularly since their best passing center back, Urguide, is not the lineup.
Shaq Moore's broken the lines here. He's bringing it forward on the dribble towards the halfway line. Now Leggett gets turned and finds Lucho with a pocket of space here. Middle of the field, out wide right to Bernie Kamungo. One-on-one here with Bombino onto his left foot. Chops back and back heel to Shaq Moore, who's made the overlapping run. Takes the cross out. Did that one get a touch? It did. It's behind for a corner kick.
Second corner kick. Both of them coming from the right side now.
Well, credit to the team building there from the short goal kick. Going the length of the field to win this corner. Acosta will take it again. He aimed for Musa at the near post in the opening minute of the game. 5 Dallas players at the top of the box. They go short to Patrickson. Back to Lucho Acosta from the byline. Digs this cross out towards Norris. Falls for Leggett. Leggett can't get the shot away. Don't think he expected it to fall to him there.
You've always got to, though. You've got to be thinking every time that ball is coming to you. You got to be ready.
Dallas, who've only got 1 goal from a set play this season, looking dangerous on the opening 2 corner kicks of the evening. They didn't have a single corner against San Jose on Wednesday.
Norris with a little Busquets move there. Eliminates 2 players, gets Dallas going.
And now Patrickson finds Musa. Musa on the dribble through midfield, ran into Balikari. Turns it over, and Musa will go chasing as Bombino brings it up the left side. Ahead to Mighton, who's in there deputizing for Chucky Lozano, available off the bench. The MLS All-Star winger.
Great job there by Musa. I mean, he pursued all the way across the field and eventually wins a throw in there. You know, just by pursuing, you know, you're slowing down that transition. So terrific job there by Dallas striker.
A little bit worried that he keeps reaching down and grabbing his ankle or his foot.
He is, isn't he?
He had that moment where he slipped earlier in the game. Here's Lucho Acosta. Nice feed from Patrickson. Overlapping run from Leggett and Farfan. Finds Leggett. Turns back and finds Lucho. Lucho Acosta on the dribble. Up against Manu Dua. The long legs of Manu Dua getting away there. And then Farfan clatters into the Ghanaian right on the edge of the box. And it'll be a foul. Free kick going the other way. Some interesting movements on the Dallas left side, whether it's Norris covering or Leggett flaring wide. They're trying to target or at least utilize Lucho Acosta with runners along this left side.
Yeah, Lucho is sort of sets up as that left wing. It's sort of a hybrid 4-3-3, but Lucho definitely, just like Dreyer on the other side, Lucho definitely has license to sort of go find the game, drift centrally, drift all the way over the right if he wants.
There is dropped in deep here to try and help San Diego build out. Svirkov back to McVeigh inside his own 18-yard box. Now hits the switching ball out to the far side for Luca Bombino. Svirkov with time in the middle. Musa 5 yards away. Svirkov back to McVeigh and over to Ian Pilcher. 4th start of the year for Pilcher. It's usually McNair and McVeigh when they're fit and available for Mikey Varas. They thought it'd be Andres Reyes, the Colombian who they signed for big money from the New York Red Bulls, but he's hardly factored this season. Dallas pressing here all the way up to the byline. McVeigh under pressure from Lucho, who gets a touch on it. The clearance from McVeigh sent down the field. Last touch is off San Diego. And then Olofsky commits the foul against Abubakar, who's not happy with Milan Olofsky.
Well, Abubakar making, it's actually not Olofsky that he's not happy with. He's making the point to Guido Gonzalez that, hey man, he just took the ball, slammed it, which is sometimes a yellow card, but he also delayed the free kick, which should be a yellow card. I don't know if it was the worst offense ever, but that was the point that Abubakar was making.
Dallas get it back going quickly. For Lawless, being genuinely one of the nicest people you'll ever meet off the field. He does have some fire to him, certainly.
Well, I don't mind him making the point to Guido Gonzalez. I think it's worth making. And
there's a ball in behind for Bruni Kamungo. I think he went early. Yeah, the flag is up. Nice idea from Patrickson there, a deep position.
I think Abubakar making the point, it's one of those where he's really not talking about that play. He's really lobbying for the next time that San Diego does that to make sure that maybe somebody goes in the book for it.
It's important to have those veteran players out there. Dallas line up a mix of under 23 and experienced MLS pros tonight. And a bench with an average age of 21 years old.
Abubakar doing a really nice job there of tracking Olofsky's checking run and making it uncomfortable for him and knocking the ball away.
Possession with San Diego in their own half. Svirkov hits the diagonal out to Verhoeven. up the near side. Sees two defenders, back to McVeigh.
I mean, again, can Acosta get there a little bit quicker?
Here's a nice ball from Svirkov over the top. Dua along the right side. Abubakar gets there, shoulder to shoulder. He keeps it in play, and it's in towards Dreyer, who ripped a right-footed shot off the side netting. Thankfully for Dallas, the outside netting.
A little battle there that you'd prefer not to have happen, but ball that a couple of players thought might be going out, it stayed in, and you know, Monodua may be young and inexperienced, but he's a big cat, and Abubakar's not small either. Big collision there right at the base of the penalty area.
Dallas building up here from the goal kick. Farfan down the line for Leggett. Two hands in the back from Svirkov. Leggett still trying to stay on his feet. I don't think he needed to. Eventually he wins the throw. Throwing down the line. Musa takes it down on the chest. In the midfield for Norris. Tries to hit the first time ball in behind. Kamungo will chase. Bombino has to get it right. He does win the header and finds McVeigh.
Pretty good one-time ball there from Nolan Norris.
Certainly asking the question. Bombino, who's been a part of the same U20 national team camp that Nolan Norris is often the captain. Dreyer now dropping all the way into a deep position on the far side.
San Diego movement off the ball, always really good, and a lot of times it's Dreyer sort of moving the chess pieces around. You see him always talking to players, sort of using his arms, showing them where he wants them to go.
Dua over to Pilcher, down the line for Bombino. Back to Svirkov. And now Dua, who's looked at home 20 minutes into his MLS debut, fires the ball in between the lines. And there was space there for Anders Dreyer, but he couldn't corral it, and it goes through for Martin Paz.
Yeah, but one more time, it's that area right there, about 10 yards in, central, 10 yards into the Dallas attack or defensive half. And Nolan Norris was the first one to put his hands up and say, somebody's got to get in there and put a little pressure there.
Nice build up for Dallas now, and it's Leggett who finds Lucho into the attacking half. Lucho on the dribble. Out wide right for Shaq Moore on the overlap. Fresh scoring his second goal for FC Dallas on Wednesday. Dropped back off for Lucho Acosta. Over to Patrickson. Patrickson lines up the shot from distance and just leaned back a little too much. That one's over the bar. We know he can hit them. Showed that last year. He was the youngest player to score for FC Dallas in 2024. Hit the net 4 times.
I really did think Patrickson was really good the other day. The one thing he hasn't added to his game this year is that bottom line production. He's got no goals and just 1 assist.
Ball through the lines, and there's space for Valicari now in the center circle. Patrickson in retreat. Mighton calling for it wide left. Olowski drops in. Pass off the mark there from Valicari. Dallas play out. Alvaro into Norris. Wide now. Marco Farfan. Again into Norris. Had a peek over his shoulder. There's nobody beyond him to make the run. He checks back for Abubakar. Who will stretch the field for Dallas tonight with no Anderson Julio? Kamungo's tried a couple of times.
We're 22 minutes in, and maybe you'd like to see one more opportunity for Kamungo to get in behind, but he's had a couple of them, so that's not too bad. As long as you're asking the questions, you know, you're moving that line back just a little bit.
Pass, nice ball in the midfield for Patrickson, who finds Leggett. Leggett to Lucho. Farfan on the overlap. Leggett an option into the feet of Musa now, top of the box. Musa chips it in, looking for the run of Lucho. And didn't get that one right to match the run. Dos Santos with a comfortable claim.
Yeah, Pilcher did a pretty good job of just sort of maneuvering Lucho Acosta's run away and just sort of nudging him off the ball a little bit off of his line.
Some good ball progression through the middle for Sebastian Leggett, and really for all 3 midfielders for Dallas so far. Bombino will bring it forward on the far side. Ahead to Mighton, who leaves it for Bombino. Foot race here with Kamungo. Options, making the run in behind. And oh, what a tackle there. Sliding block from Alvaro.
Could have only been better if he'd untucked that jersey.
Not a fan of the tuck, Steve?
That sure looks good on him. That was a great tackle, though. Great intervention.
There was runners at the back post. Made sure it didn't get there. Dallas now back in their defensive shape. So we've played 23 minutes. Scoreless soccer so far at Toyota Stadium. Dallas have scored 6 in their last 2 games. San Diego have scored 9 in their last 2 games. So either we're due for the offenses to have a night off, or what we saw on Wednesday was goals at both ends.
There's a lot of, attacking at both ends, too. It's been a little slower pace tonight, which, you sort of understand given the heat.
Here's a nice ball in the midfield and a sliding tackle from Patrickson, and we're headed to the penalty spot. A tackle from behind that he really didn't need to make. He's protesting that he got the ball. It's Valakari who was fouled.
I don't know whether he got the ball or not, but there's no reason. He's from the wrong side. That's not going to be overturned, I don't believe. He's got a quick look at it. But look, he's from the wrong side. You can't leave your feet like that. He didn't even get close to the ball.
Well, Dallas.
I'm sorry, Ryan. We talked about fouling smart, and that's just not it.
Dallas have conceded 5 penalties. One of them was to San Diego. That was dispatched by Lozano. Not on the field right now, so it's going to be Dreyer. Pass looking for his first save from 12 yards of 2025.
I said it was looking a little eerie about how much this game resembled the last time they played, and this is the exact same scenario. Dallas doing okay until they give up a penalty kick.
Well, can Martin Pass flipped the script here? Anders Dreyer 4 steps back off to the right, awaits the referee's whistle. Pass, hands outstretched, feet firmly planted on the goal line. It's Anders Dreyer on the approach, rolls it down the middle. Pass dives the other way, and San Diego take a lead here in the 25th minute. Eric Quilp talked about after Wednesday young player mistakes. The Alvaro mistake, the Kaique red card. That feels like another one of those moments. Patrickson had more experience than either of those other two, but still just 21 years old. Just sliding there for...
It's just hard to understand the decision there. I mean, I understand that Valakari is into the penalty area there, but he's 100% tackling from the wrong side there. He's got, the risk-reward ratio there is way unbalanced, and he just got to trust his goalkeeper, trust his center back to get over there, trust his teammates. He knows I'm looking at him right now. He knows he made a mistake.
Well, the stat now that the FC Dallas fans listening won't want to hear is that San Diego are 8-0 when scoring first, and they've won all 11 games in which they've led. Norris ahead to Acosta, looking for a response. Out wide for Shackmore. A lot of space for the Dallas right back. Pokes it wide right for Bernie Kamungo. Kamungo back to Patrickson, who will now be desperate to make amends. Felt like he'd finally played himself into some really good form before that moment. His entry pass deflected up in the air. He does well to win it back. Under pressure now from Mighton at the halfway line. Back to Alvaro. Patrickson just standing on the ball looking for options. Finds Kamungo wide. Out to Shaq Moore. And Moore just can't keep it in play. He had a couple of runners beyond him there. Possession here with the back line for San Diego. McVeigh into the middle for Anders Dreyer, who's dropped in.
So as we continue the theme of this one looking too much like the last time these teams played, see, Dallas has to come out now. They can't sit back quite as comfortably in the mid-block. They've got to press a little bit. Maybe not right now. Maybe they can wait a little while.
Well, they're putting the pressure higher up the field here as Furkov gets turned. Norris read the pass, intercepts in midfield, finds Lucho quickly. Lucho Acosta looking for space. Closed down and dispossessed by McVeigh. And McVeigh's continued the run up the right side with Anders Dreyer on the ball. It's Figert. Just reads the game so well. The veteran Danish midfielder wearing the armband for San Diego. On the other side, though, Norris reading the game really well moments ago with that interception. Here's Musa trying to get turned. Still in the defensive half.
I think Nolan Norris already had some really good moments in there.
Musa back to Alvaro. And wide for Shaq Moore. We've played a half hour now. San Diego leading. Anders Dreyer from the penalty spot. The first time ball from Patrickson keeps it ticking along out to Marco Farfan. Patrickson trying to break the lines there, gives it away to Dreyer. Dreyer spots pass out off his line. And fortunately for Dallas, he couldn't replicate his goal against Minnesota a couple of games ago. That one way off target.
Well, the one against Minnesota was against a highly inexperienced goalkeeper, as Dane St. Clair wasn't available, off playing with the Canadian national team. I think Martin Paz, I took a glance up. I think he was in a pretty good spot, even if Dreyer had hit a good one from there.
We're heading into the hydration break here with a half hour gone. We're going to let you know that the best way to experience FC Dallas soccer is with a season ticket membership, which has a host of benefits that make this the best option in sports, including a complimentary MLS Season Pass subscription, discounts on concessions at Toyota Stadium, and much more. You can find the membership that's perfect for you at fcdallas.com/memberships. In the next home match for Dallas, you can join us at Toyota Stadium for the biggest fireworks show in North Texas on Friday for the 4th of July. FC Dallas hosting Minnesota United. Only a handful of tickets remain. Visit fcdallastickets.com for more.
Dallas with only 42% possession right now, but you know, against this team, you don't really have to have a lot of possession, as well, Austin showed a couple of months ago when they actually beat this team down in Central Texas. Only had 23% possession that day, and it was 2-1, and it could have been 3-1, 4-1. Austin missing some chances late to add to the tally.
Well, don't miss the FC Dallas Rewind on KDFI More 27 every Tuesday night during the regular season at 7 p.m. You can watch FC Dallas Soccer for free on KDFI More 27. This free over-the-air channel is available everywhere in the DFW market. Dallas going through a little bit of a tactical instruction from Eric Quill, getting fluids on board. Trying to stay cool as we are well and truly into the summer heat now.
Something for Sam Hale to put a pin in to talk about at halftime, Ryan, as he gets his pins ready over there to stick in somewhere. A couple of times when Dallas has had the ability to go fast in transition, I wonder sometimes, Ryan, if they look for Lucho Acosta in some of those moments, and it slows down the transition. Sometimes it's good to find your talisman in there, but sometimes you just, if you're in transition, you keep going, you keep the initiative, because when they find him, sometimes they lose the initiative immediately because he slows it down.
Had the same thought myself on a couple of these attacks. It's been the balance all year, finding the right amount of getting him touches in the right spots without being too deferential. Norris, first time ball out to Shaq Moore. Down the line, Patrickson gets there, wins it from Bombino, finds Norris centrally. Back to Abubakar, keep it moving, out to Farfan. Lucho dropping in deep now. Finds the run of Sebastian Lletget ahead. Lletget brings it wide and then finds Acosta again. Acosta, first time pass off the mark, intercepted by Dua. Norris quickly onto it, whistled for a handball. Not sure I saw it the same way. I think the problem of Acosta slowing things down is exacerbated when you just can't find the runs of teammates tonight. Everything's been intercepted really so far. He's
got to be smart about where he's asking for the ball too, because a moment ago he literally came back and took the ball from Marco Farfan from 5 feet away, way back in Dallas's defensive half, and I don't really know that I understand that, because now you've literally got two players standing in the same spot.
Sverkov gets turned in the middle, tries to fire it through Route 1, looking for Iloski. Abubakar makes the interception. Now Patrickson lifts his head up, sees the run of Sebastian Lletget in behind up the left side. He keeps it in play towards the corner flag on the left. Now surveys, looking for options, finds Lucho Acosta, corner of the 18, shot from distance, headed away by McVeigh. Covered by Bernie Kamungo on the far side. Kamungo onto his left foot, lifts this one into the box, over the head of Musa. Headed clear, not too far clear, and now Acosta gets turned. Acosta, same spot, this time going for the back post! Oh, yes! Lucho Acosta picks out the top corner, puts Dos Santos in the spin cycle, and we're all even once again.
Well, Ryan, he turns at about 22 yards, sort of left of goal. Only he can tell us whether he was actually going for that or whether he was trying to find Petr Musa at the back post. Doesn't matter, though. Whatever the case, maybe a little hint of offside there, but I actually think, looking at the replay, maybe he was. He takes
I don't know. Watch his reaction.
I sort of agree, but he does take a peek up. He looks at it. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to go for Petr Musa at the back post, but it's a highlight goal either way.
He couldn't have placed it better if he tried. Lucho Acosta on the score sheet. Once again, his 6th goal of the season. Lletget picks up the assist. And Dallas level things here in the 35th minute. And that brings some life back to the stadium. They will check it, though. Like Steve mentioned, there is a hint of offside, potentially Lucho coming back from an offside position.
And, you know, the key here that we always talk about is the flag was not raised, so that means there has to be compelling evidence and that it was a clear and obvious error. If they don't get the right angle, then they'll let this goal stand.
They don't draw the lines in Major League Soccer like you might see in other leagues around the world.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they're going to take a look.
I'm afraid that he's offside. He was a little bit late. As I saw the replay there, his back leg is sort of dragging, so they're gonna wave this one off, I believe. There's a cut of the grass that's gonna sort of provide assistance here, and I can tell you that the officials absolutely get out and they walk the grass, they look at it, they make sure those lines are straight, so that in case this comes up, that the cuts of the grass really do help sort of figure things out.
Here's the referee's decision. And the goal will not stand. Dallas still now behind a 1-0. Just a really unfortunate break there. Matter of inches.
It's an instance where the rule is it's correct. I mean, it's the correct call. And I'm not saying that, but it's really unfortunate because he gained no advantage in that moment by being in an offside position. It was sort of a soft pass that Marco Farfan directed toward him. I think he probably hit it a little too soft, actually, and it just sort of fell right for Acosta.
And now going the other way, ball in behind. Iloski gives chase. Iloski looking for an angle to shoot. Abubakar defending. Abubakar shields it off, and Iloski goes down. Doesn't really appeal for a foul. And now can Dallas use that to their advantage, build momentum, or will that be a deflating moment here as we're playing in the 37th minute and the equalizer wiped away?
Nolan Norris trying to go over the top there, didn't hit a good ball into Musa, but I tell you what, his technique so far, bringing the ball out of the back, looks really good. Looks very comfortable in there.
You got to say, outside of the goal, which came from a pretty clear mistake from Patrickson, they've limited San Diego to not much in the attacking third.
Yeah, Martin Paz not really having much to do at all after coming out punching that one corner kick in traffic.
Try a first-time ball, trying to spring Iloski. Farfan gets in the way. Gets it back to Paz. It goes long. Chested down in midfield by Sverkov, who tries to lift it over the top. And both players believe in an offside position. Will leave it for Martin Paas. Paas fires it with the throw out to Shackamore. Now back with the Dallas goalkeeper. Boubacar out to Farfan. Dua closes him down, lifted down the line. Musa takes it on the chest, gets his head up, hits the switching ball. It's a little bit behind Shackamore. He's going to have to retrieve it. Nice first touch out of the sky from Moore, but he's back in the defensive half now. Switches it back to the near side for Farfan. Farfan will take the space afforded to him here, bringing it into the San Diego end. Back for Norris. Patrickson, head up here on the halfway line, hits the switch diagonal out to Shackamore on the far side. Moore on the dribble into midfield, finds Norris. Norris looking for the run of Kamungo.
You wonder if Norris just needs to, somebody needs to say, just simplify your game. You're playing as a 6. You don't need to hit entry balls. It's the second time that he's tried to be the supplier in there. And I understand, you know, you're behind, but he's just got to find Acosta, find Musa, find one of those guys in front of him.
McVeigh on the dribble into midfield. Back to Dua, back to Dos Santos. San Diego have scored 22 of their now 37 goals in the final 15 minutes of either half, so they finish halves well. Good feet there from Pilcher under pressure. Gets it out to Bombino, who will bring it forward on the far side. Into Dreyer, who's come all the way across, playing as a number 10 right now. That's the number on his back. Here he is again. Danish winger came over from Anderlecht. Pretty unknown name that has lit up the league for now 9 goals and 12 assists in just over half a season. There's a ball ahead from Dua into Valicari, now wide with Verhoeven, but he put the pass behind him. And it's straight out for a throw. Patrickson, early switch out to Kamungo. But heavy touch, straight out of play.
But those switches from Patrickson, he's got to drive them. He can't loft them. Second time in a row he's done that, and you just lose his effectiveness when you hit it up that high.
Bombino out to Mighton. 1v1 with Shackamore, who's won that battle so far tonight. Dallas sitting in defensively. San Diego moving it across the back line. Sverkov back to McVeigh, into Dua. They find the free man, but Leggett picks his pocket. Musa, first time ball to Lucho Acosta. Acosta on the dribble in the right channel, but Sverkov comes across, makes the tackle. San Diego regain possession. McVeigh just full of confidence on the dribble, past a few Dallas players into midfield. The center back, they got him for $50K in general allocation money from DC United. Huge credit to the front office of San Diego and Mikey Varas for turning some of these guys that were not highly thought of across the league into a really solid group out there. Here's the switching ball from Sverkov. Mighton wasn't ready for it. Shackamore finds Kamungo, shoving the back from Bombino, and he's fine to give away that free kick in the Dallas end.
I know Lucho Acosta had the fake goal a minute ago, but he's losing the ball a lot tonight. Losing on the dribble, getting his passes intercepted, so a little bit better care of the ball from Acosta would help Dallas.
Boubacar on it. Here, 2 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in the half. Acosta through the lines, ahead to Musa, and he couldn't get a clean take on it. Not a bad ball there from Acosta. Dua up the near side. 2 Dallas players around him. Oh, here's a bad giveaway. Musa now on it inside the 18. Musa onto his right foot. There's the equalizer. That one will count. We are level at 1. Musa, opportunistic off the giveaway, picks out the bottom corner with precision, and it's game on.
Well, maybe he was in an offside position. Who cares? Because he got that ball right from Manu Dua, who's down on the ground and very upset with himself right now. That was a bad giveaway from the youngster that came into this match with 1 minute of MLS experience. But that's what a good striker does. He pounced, eliminated one player with a little cutback on his right foot, kept the ball on his preferred right foot. Ian Pilcher can't recover in time. That means Petar Musa only has the goalkeeper to beat, which he does from 14 yards dead center.
7th goal of the season for Petar Musa. And this game has largely hinged on 2 big mistakes now from young midfielders on either side. And we'll see if Dua can pick himself back up. He was distraught as the goal went in. Multiple teammates coming across to try and pick him up.
Oh, he's a big kid. Takes a couple to pick him up.
There's a lot of Manu Dua to pick up.
There is.
Mentioned San Diego's been good finishing out halves. Can Dallas flip the script here as we're headed towards first half stoppage time? There will be a considerable amount. We did have the water break. Sebastian Lletget orchestrating a one-man press right now.
Yeah, I don't understand it though. A one-man press is a bad press.
And Mighton lifts up the landing gear there, wins a foul from Shaq Moore. As we've got 7 minutes added on here in the first half. Anders Dreyer has gotten free here in between Norris and Farfan. Anders Dreyer now driving at the Dallas back line. Over to Ilosky. Ilosky scores. The flag is up. But for Milan Ilosky right now, they might be going and checking that and finding that somehow he kept himself onside.
Nolan Norris has had a really good game, but he got the wrong side of Dreyer there. And Dreyer drives himself through the midfield, and now he's running with the back line. He's got the back line compromised. And yeah, it's going to be Ilosky offside by about a yard and a half there. So this one's an easy call from the referee's assistant.
Well, he finished it well. And in addition to his 9 goals, he's had a few called back, and he hit the crossbar as well recently against Minnesota. I mean,
he likes to shoot. He'll shoot from anywhere.
He's a shooter. Dallas building up here in first half stoppage time. Lucho out to Shaq Moore. Shaq Moore spots the cross towards Musa, or maybe he spots Dos Santos off his line. Dos Santos called into action there, a diving punch away. And San Diego looking a little bit rattled here. Can Dallas find another goal? They've got 5.5 minutes remaining before the break. Lletget into Lucho centrally. Lucho holds off one challenge, now finds Kamungo, leaves it for Lletget inside the 18. Lletget looking for an angle to shoot, gets the left-footed shot away. Well saved by Dos Santos. Musa on the follow-up, blocked away by Pilcher. It's going to be a throw way towards the corner flag here on the near side.
San Diego looking a little tired. It's something that you brought up in the pregame. I'll let you take it here to take it quick.
Into Farfan. Down the byline for Lletget. Lletget still going. Lletget gets the right-footed shot away. Sliding block there from Valakari. Puts it behind for a corner. Dallas in the ascendancy now.
Something else for Sam to put a pin in. As you said, they don't really have much of a bench tonight. So as they start to wilt a little bit in this heat, they just don't have a lot of options. Mikey Varas doesn't over on the bench.
It's going to be Lucho Acosta on the corner from the near side this time. His first in-swinging opportunity. 2 arms raised. Goes short to Marco Farfan. Corner of the 18. Set back for Lucho. Bending ball in right on top of Dos Santos, and he's able to claim it. And he spots runners for a potential counter, but he's going to hold off. And Dallas have to be careful not to get too stretched here, having equalized. That's what we saw against San Jose, doing all the hard work to get back in the game and then immediately throwing it away. Valakari to Verhoeven. Lletget goes pressing here against Valakari, forces the mistake. Norris onto it. Norris sees the run of Kamungo, tries to go early with the ball in behind. It's intercepted. Now Dallas have to get back defensively. Mighton with Wallace Abubakar out on an island. Abubakar goes to ground. Mighton gets past him. Then Norris comes in with a crunching tackle to block the shot. And Patrickson trying to find his way out of 3 San Diego players, wins a free kick. Norris staying down.
Yeah, I hope Norris is okay, but that was a heck of a tackle in there.
Not sure what happened where Abubakar was the one drawn out wide. It's not where you want to see him. Norris definitely shaken up. No Ramiro. We thought maybe he could be available today, but just missed out coming back from a calf strain. Meaning there is really no defensive midfielder available on the bench for Dallas. They'd have to move Leggett back in there probably.
Yeah, it's Delgado that's been playing a little bit more of a defensive role, sort of sliding in next to Nolan Norris as Dallas goes to possession mostly tonight. But you're right, I think it would probably be Leggett.
4 minutes of the 7 played here in stoppage time. Lucho ahead to Leggett, back to Lucho on the dribble now, running at the back line. Ahead to Kamungo. Kamungo inside the 18, gets the shot away, and it deflects wide and behind for a corner.
Tell you what, the last 10 minutes, Dallas asking a lot of questions to that San Diego back line right now.
Well, they're not going to want halftime to come unless they can get a goal sometime in these next couple of minutes.
I mean, about 10 minutes ago, Dallas had 2 shots. Now they have 9.
Adding to the corner kick count as well. Lucho Acosta will take this one from the far side. Acosta with some whip on this one towards Alvaro, who wins the header but can't get it down and under the bar. It's behind for a goal kick. I'll tell you what, when we finally see Alvaro's first FC Dallas goal, this man can celebrate. We've seen it with North Texas. Gymnastics is the teaser for that one. He's got some flips to him. For a 6'5" player, it'll be fun to see when it does happen. He had a chance there. McVeigh ahead to Dua. Verhoeven down the line for Dua. Closed down quickly by Farfan. Dua trying to use his 6'3" frame to hold off the Dallas left back and does well. Now it's space for Svirkov. Minute and change remaining here in stoppage time. Dreyer dropping in the center circle. Out wide with Valakari. Mighton. No way past Shaq Moore. Checks back for Svirkov. Dreyer again centrally. Out to Bombino. Wide again with Mighton. Mighton onto his right foot. Cuts back. Shaq Moore all over him. Forces him wide again. Now Svirkov. Svirkov slipped ball through the lines. This one may break for Valakari. Valakari plays it off Alvaro. It's going to be a corner. Deft little play there from Valakari to win the corner. And this may be the final action of the first half. Dallas desperately need to see this corner kick clear. Looks like it's going to be Alowski to take rather than Dreyer.
And if they can go to the go into the locker room at halftime feeling okay about things.
If it's Alowski on the corner, you got to watch out for the shot here. It is Milan Alowski in swinger towards the back post, and it is Martin Poss who has to make a claim. And he catches it easily. Maybe Dreyer just wanted the rest on that one. I can't imagine you'd want anybody else on corner kicks if you're San Diego FC the rest of the way.
It was crowd control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Marco Farfan, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 45 plus at Toyota Stadium, it's all level honors here as FC Dallas and San Diego FC are tied at 1. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas Halftime Show, brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. It's also brought to you this evening by AdvoCare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by our halftime team of Garrett Meltzer and Steve Davis. But let's start first with your halftime highlights. It didn't start well for FC Dallas in the 26th minute. It was Andres Dreyer sliding home a penalty kick caused off a Patrickson bad tackle in the FC Dallas box. It was an easy move past the diving Martin Posh, 1-0 San Diego in the 26th minute. But 18 minutes later, off of another mistake from a young midfielder, it was the Moose leveling the score.
Dua up the near side. Two Dallas players around him. Well, here's a bad giveaway. Musa now on it inside the 18. Musa onto his right foot. There's the equalizer. That one will count. We are level at 1.
Pedro Musa levels the score in the 44th minute. That made it 1-1, which is your halftime score. Let's get you tonight's halftime stats, which are brought to you by UMB Bank. The visiting San Diego has a possession battle 61-39. 10 shots for Dallas, 4 of those on target. 5 shots for San Diego, just 1 of those on frame. 4 corners for the Toros, 2 for the Chrome and Azul. You've got 3 saves from CJ Dos Santos, none for Martin Paz. 6 fouls for Dallas, 4 for San Diego, yet no yellow cards or red cards for either squad. As we bring in our halftime crew, Garrett Meltzer and Steve Davis. And Garrett, it's a pair of mistakes from young midfielders that have led to the goals here, but overall, FC Dallas holding serve with one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah. Like we said at the beginning, this was going to be a huge test for FC Dallas. We know how good San Diego is, especially oftentimes on the road, and we know Dallas not so good at home, unfortunately, this season. But I still think San Diego had the better of the play for the first 35, 40 minutes, really. But really going down a goal often brings Dallas back into life, and that was the case this time. And for the last 10 minutes, they looked excellent. I think 6 of the 10 shots came after the 40th minute, which is pretty surprising. And Dallas could be up a goal if Acosta's foot hadn't been just a few inches offside. So it's an interesting first 45 for sure.
I think Dallas, they got reason to be happy enough. Look, this is the best team in the West right now, sitting at the top of the Western Conference. They're very good on the road. Mikey Varas' team, I know they're missing some key players tonight, but, you go into half right now saying made a big mistake on the penalty kick, but otherwise, Martin Paz has had very, very little to do. The other goal that was nullified was clearly offside, by about a step and a half. For San Diego. Otherwise, Martin Paz had to come out and punch one ball on a corner kick, and not just a whole lot else. You would say, Garrett, to your point, they did look better in the way they were able to move through the midfield, but not a lot happening after that for San Diego, I would say.
As Garrett mentioned, the last 10 minutes of the half, much better than the first 35 or so for Dallas. Steve, what do you think was the big difference as they accumulated more shots and eventually got the game-tying goal? I
think San Diego got tired. We mentioned that they're coming from Vancouver. Vancouver took a lot of emotional energy. That was a matchup of 2 of the top 3 teams in the West. So I think there's a long trip. They couldn't rotate very much because they're so short of players right now, with 2 on international duty and a bunch of them hurt. So, they had to start a guy tonight that doesn't play a lot. He's young, but he can't be fit. So I just think they got tired, and Dallas sort of picked up on that and maybe started doing a little bit more of what Eric Quill wanted them to do, which was go a little bit more direct, which I think maybe leads us into the next point.
It sure does, because Steve brought this up during the broadcast, and I wanted to get Garrett's thoughts on it first. Lucho, when it comes to transition here, it seems like Dallas, one of their core tenets is, hey, find Lucho Acosta. Not a bad idea considering how good he is. But there's been times, and specifically in this game, it's happened 2 or 3, where they'll feed him the ball, but then instead of him doing dynamic Lucho things, the offense just kind of stops. What's your take on what he may or may not be doing?
In transition is what I was talking
about.
Specifically.
Yeah, I noticed on transitions, and this is even before they give the ball to Lucho Acosta, oftentimes I saw kind of legit carrying the ball forward. There weren't a ton of runs in behind. And, I think San Diego's defense back line is doing a really good job dropping and preventing that, pulling the Bernard Kamunga oftentimes, who would have been in offside position if he were to make a run. But I think that's kind of the problem right now, is that Bernard Kamunga is really the only guy with speed to get in behind. We know Musa, he can do that. He typically doesn't. He kind of just trails with the last defender waiting for a ball into his feet. And I could see Aleo Chu being a guy off the bench who could make a big difference in terms of just changing the pace of the game, being an extra run in behind, because you're absolutely right. Many times Dallas has, 3-on-4, 4-on-4 running at the back line, and there's not a lot going on. They haven't really taken advantage of that. Neither of their, goal-scoring opportunities, their two best ones, have come out in that position. See, the way I see it, though, Garrett, is they're too deferential in those moments to Acosta. Instead of, running behind is one of the ways, of course, that you hit somebody in transition, but you can hit a switch. You can pull players out of position with a second and third man run. You can drive right at somebody, make them commit, and then you drive at somebody, you are making somebody commit, and that's going to break down the defense a little bit. What you do from there, is anybody's guess. But the point is, in those moments when they feed Acosta, the transition just dies. And we know that Eric Wilt has told us that they want to turn over the ball in the right spots, and they want to get vertical fast. Well, you either get vertical fast or you give the ball to Lucho, who stands on it for a minute. Who stands at it for a minute and slows everything down. So I just wonder if in those moments they're too deferential to Lucho. And I could totally see your point there. I think the thing is it's actually slowing down before he even gets the ball because of that lack of the running behind. Sebastian Jett looks up. He doesn't see a pass. What's the next best pass? Pass it to Lucho Acosta, typically. And so I think it's kind of two things combining to make that happen, because it does look like they're passing it to him too often in those positions, but I just don't see many other better options oftentimes.
And I'm also curious if we're just kind of having the Lucho moment at this point. When he receives the ball specifically right around the 18, the top of it, you'll see he'll get in position, and he'll usually have two defenders, and he'll try to juke him like he did back when he was in Cincinnati, but it just seems like for whatever reason he doesn't have that move left, and I'd really like to see him be himself be a little bit more deferential. When he gets that ball, instead of trying to beat two guys, if there's somebody there like a Musa or even a Kamunga or anybody really, get it out to them and let them try to ask some questions of that defense.
To your point, 0 for 3 on duels today, 0 for 2 on successful dribbles. And, I feel like we keep having this conversation about Lucho Acosta and that he can still do really good things, just the ratio of really, magical Lucho things to just losing the ball a little too easily sometimes loses some balance.
And real quick, I know it's disallowed, but was his disallowed goal a shot or a cross?
We talked about it a little bit. I see him take a little peek and then play that ball, but his reaction, as Ryan pointed out, his reaction afterwards tells me he was almost a little embarrassed by the goal. So maybe it was because Lucho, there was Peter Musa making a good run at the back post. So I think he was trying to pick that out.
And I think the celebration is the sticking point there. That was kind of 50-50 because he takes a little look. It was just one of those where the pass or where the ball ended up in the top corner was so far from where the run was. I would be surprised that Lucho Acosta would miss his man by that much. And scoring a goal like that is certainly not out of the realm of possibility for a guy that talented. But I think you're right. I think the celebration kind of decided that, that was a miss-hit cross.
I'm on team shot here, Gary. You might have to find out after the game if you can get in there and ask Lucho, because that'll be the curiosity as postgame. But let's talk about the second half first before we worry about postgame, and that's Dallas trying to at least hold on to a point or maybe get a second or third goal and try to get all three out of this one, Garrett. Based on what you saw in that first half, how do you think Dallas gets there?
I mean, I think they line up in a similar way. I know the first 30-ish minutes weren't great, but they also weren't that bad against a team as good as San Diego is. And then, just try to maintain that energy and that verve that they had in the last 10 minutes or so, because they generated a number of shots and they looked very, very dangerous. And like I said a little bit earlier, I could see having another pacey guy out there just creating an extra dynamic and making San Diego even a little bit more nervous about these counterattacks. And I'm looking at Leo Chu or even maybe the debutant Sam Sarver potentially.
The other thing to keep your eye on there is they're asking Sebastian Lletget to do a lot right now, because in possession, he gets up the field. In defense, he has to come over and play as that left-sided midfielder, but because there's only 3 in the midfield, he's got to scoot over very quickly and account for Anders Dreyer out in wider positions. So they're asking him to do a lot of work, and you sort of wonder how long he can go in there. And by the way, a while ago I said that San Diego is not going to have a lot of talent to bring off the bench. The asterisk there is they do have Chucky Lozano on the bench. You just wonder, having not played for a while, how much he has in him.
I'm glad you mentioned the fatigue, because obviously Sebastian Lletget and Patterson both played a good amount on Wednesday. Nolan Norris fresh after not making too much impact. Do you think that as we get into the 60th and 70th, it's going to cause Eric Quill to have a question of, hey, even though I've got some time off coming up in a normalish match week, how do I make those substitutions, and what could that possibly lead to?
For me, you can't think about match week, anything coming up, man. You got to win tonight. So that's all that matters. You can't, you worry about next week. So he does have Logan Farrington, who we know will come in and give you a lot of effort. He's got Leo Chu, who I think is just going to be a a like for like with Bernie Kamungo if he comes in. So you've got some good options there if you're FC Dallas. You got Siki and Sabling that can give you a little something different in the midfield. So I would say right now Eric Will has more options, a lot more options off the bench than Mikey Varas does.
Would definitely agree with that. And we will see how each of those managers deploy their benches as we finish up the halftime show here. When we return, it'll be Ryan and Steve getting ready for the second half of action here from Toyota Stadium. It's San Diego FC 1, FC Dallas 1, as Dallas looks for their second win at home here in this 2025 MLS campaign. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Hi everyone, it's Paxton Palmacall, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Just a matter of moments away from getting the second half underway here at Toyota Stadium. FC Dallas 1, San Diego FC 1 after 45 minutes. Both teams have now retaken the field here at Toyota Stadium. The field has been watered, which led to some interesting conditions on Wednesday, we know. And it looks like a similar situation in terms of the watering pattern of the field. That'll be one to watch if the Dallas players have made the adjustment in terms of footwear required. Let's see. There will be adjustments, no doubt, on both sides, and that's largely in part because Dallas finished that half with a lot of momentum.
Well, the other thing you mentioned here is FCD absolutely, positively, without a doubt, cannot come out like they did the other day in the second half. The first 10 or 12 minutes of the second half the other day, Dallas just not where they needed to be mentally, and they really paid the price against San Jose.
And Dallas are going to make a change here. Both teams are. First off, Tomas Angel is on for San Diego FC. He replaces Manu Dua. Nolan Norris is off, replaced by Siki and Sabling in midfield.
You think that's got to have to do with that tackle that left Nolan Norris with the looked like a gimpy ankle.
He's on the bench right now. And he just slammed the bench in frustration, but he is walking gingerly for sure with the right foot, right shoe off. Frustrating for Norris, who was solid in there, and you just know he craves that long run in the team that's eluded him over the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I think his passing was good until he tried to get a little ambitious. Maybe his pass selection could use just a little bit of workshopping, but otherwise I thought he was really solid in there defensively and really good in building out of the back. Never really getting himself in trouble against San Diego's press.
Back underway here in the second half. It looks like it'll be Patrickson, the deepest of the midfield three. Long towards Musa, header towards Acosta, loses out to Sverkov. And at the other end, It looks like Tomas Angel, the number 9, will go through the middle. Oloski is a part of the attacking group, but he might be in midfield right now.
Well, with Siki in there, Dallas becomes a little bit more attack-minded in the midfield.
First appearance in quite a while for Nsabaling. He was the oldest player on the Dallas bench tonight at 27 years old. Average age in the subs of just over 21 tonight for Eric Quill. Getting a couple of short-term call-ups from North Texas SC. San Diego move it out to Bombino, the left back, here on the near side. Nsabaling setting up on the right of the midfield 3. Patrickson in the middle, Leggett on the left. Pilcher wide to Alex Mighton. English and American dual national winger goes in field. Now Sverkov through the lines, nice ball into a pocket. Dreyer gets the shot away, blocked well by Leggett.
I won't say it anymore, but I'll just tell you one more time. If they just allow Sverkov to find that space, get his head up at 35 yards, they're going to be in trouble.
Switching ball out towards Mighton if he can keep it in play. And he does just about, and then Shackmore volleys it clear out for a throw.
Sverkov a minute ago just sort of drifted into that little pocket about 35 yards out centrally, and just nobody closes him, so he's able to get his head up and find a passing lane from there.
4 players from both sides crowded around the ball here on the near side, including Petter Musa, who's back helping out defensively. Eventually, Shackmore volleys it out for once again a throw-in for San Diego. And Sverkov, time and space in the middle, picks his head up. Lucho Acosta a few yards away, switching it out to Dreyer on the far side.
But again, that's all you need, just somebody a few yards away.
Oh, Dreyer looking for Oloski. Acrobatic clearance from Alvaro. Sverkov back to McVeigh, over to Pilcher in a wide position, down the line for Mighton. Shackmore bites in with a tackle, sliding effort from Kamungo. Patrickson puts his weight around and steps in front of Oloski. Now fires a pass in between the lines to Musa. Musa's ball blocked out for a Dallas throw now for Shackmore. Steve, Eric Quill pinpointed the first 10 minutes of the second half on Wednesday as where he felt his team lost the game. It's certainly one to watch tonight, how they come out from the locker room, even with having to make that one change due to injury. Boubacar ball ahead for Leggett. Trying to take it on the turn, pirouetting as he took the first touch. Finds Patrickson, the ball ahead to Lucho. Lucho can't control it. That was Siki with the pass towards the Dallas number 10.
That's Nsabaling's first time on the ball, and it was the right pass and the right weight. I liked that he really tried to find Acosta quickly, but he just didn't get it quite accurately enough.
Sverkov once again trying that slip ball through the lines. Alvaro sliding in, then Shackmore. Pass ahead to the feet of Petter Musa. Musa on the dribble, pass 2. Finds Lucho Acosta. Bernie Kamungo making the run in behind. Acosta puts it out for him to chase. Forces him wide out here to the right side. Dallas with runners arriving. As Kamungo checks back now. Onto his left foot. Trying to force it through to Nsabaling. Breaks back for Musa. Out wide for Shackmore. Poked ahead for the run of Petter Musa. Musa cross in from the near side towards the far over everybody's head. And it's going to go out for a throw. Now Verhoeven will keep it in play.
Musa out there ready to combine with Bernie Kamungo well out right, and then Musa ends up crossing the ball. Not a great cross. I'd much rather see Musa standing in front of the goal and waiting for those crosses.
Sverkov out to Bombino. Bombino putting this one over the top. Nobody making the run. It's Tomas Angel, another player that been picked up from within the league. He was an international signing for LAFC last year. Didn't really work out for him. He ended the year on loan with Phoenix and USL. And he's gotten a couple of goals for the San Diego team. It's an attacking move to bring Dua off at half after he made that mistake for the goal. Like you're bringing off number 8 for a number 9. Pass under pressure, hooks one out towards Farfan. Farfan under pressure from 2, turns past Verhoeven. Loses out to Angel, doing some defending there. Gets it back to Dos Santos at the other end. Angel gets turned in the middle, through the lines, looking for Dreyer, intercepted by Abubakar. Now in Sabalang under pressure, able to get turned, gets his head up, puts it out wide for the run of Shaq Moore, brings it forward on the overlap into the San Diego half, trying to slip it in towards Acosta. Acosta wins it back from Sverkov. Moore trying to get turned from Bombino, one of the foul, nothing given. And Sabalang and Alvaro doing well to keep that from Miloski. Alvaro now back to Martin Paz.
San Diego playing an aggressively high line as they do. Bernie trying to launch a couple of runs, but players have to get their heads up, and they can drop that ball right behind that high back line.
Alvaro in towards Acosta, tried to flick it. Kamungo not on the same page. Musa putting pressure on, but McVeigh, Balikari work it well.
Acosta and Kamungo having a conversation. Acosta wanted something different from Bernie Kamungo there as he tried to flick that ball through.
Ball through the lines, looking for Balikari. Heavy first touch. Alvaro comes in, steaming through the back of the San Diego player, commits the foul. And this one from a central spot, probably 35, 40 yards from goal. Wouldn't say it's totally out of shooting range for Dreyer. But they've got the targets forward from the back to aim at. Right arm raised for the Danish DP. Ball played in. Patterson wins the header. Ball, second effort through traffic from Mighton is blocked. Now Dreyer back on it in a wide position on the far side. And to Sverkov. Sverkov 1-2 with Orlovsky. Sverkov cut back towards Orlovsky. Now Dreyer. Dreyer left-footed shot over the bar. Immediately he knew he got that shot wrong, but that's a really good opportunity for the leading assist man in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, good little combination work there at the right side of the penalty area for San Diego. And Dreyer getting that ball right where he wants on his left foot. He actually sort of, as he receives the ball, his first touch isn't the best as it sort of falls away from him just a little bit. He wanted to push it in front of him, have a little better shot at it.
There's Musa, the one defending for Dallas, still back there after the set play. Leggett hounded by Sverkov on the sideline on the far side. Takes it quickly, finds Lucho centrally. Lucho, nice touch there past Orlovsky. Now spreads it out for Shaq Moore on the near side, bombing forward from right back. 3 inside the 18 for Dallas. Cross from Moore towards Kamungo. It's Musa at the back post, and it's Kamungo who taps it in. Bernie Kamungo back on the score sheet. Set up by Musa and Shaq Moore to make it 2-1. The flag now raised belatedly. And it's going to depend on whether the ball from Petar Musa was a cutback or whether Kamungo had got out in front of the play.
Well, it's a really good releasing ball out on the right side into Shaq Moore. Shaq Moore puts a good ball across. He's got Bernie Kamungo and Petar Musa, and I think as Petar Musa puts that ball towards goal, I think Bernie Kamungo is probably in an offside position. He's sort of gives it the finishing touch right there on the goal line.
Well, 2 things here. Is he behind the ball? And then if he is, it'll be given. And was it going in anyway, and he should have left it? Those are the 2 questions here as we get another look at the replay.
So there's no question that Musa is onside.
And the goal's been officially disallowed. We never saw a good replay to really take a look at it. Second goal disallowed for Dallas. We're back to 1-1. Dallas starting to find more space in the attack, certainly, than they were in the opening 30 minutes of this game. How much of that is fatigue factor for the Western Conference leading San Diego? Bombino dealing with some loose footing there, nearly slipped over, but kept possession.
And you wonder, can Eric Quill really pour on the pressure by going to the sub-bench a little earlier than he usually does?
Nice interception there from Musa. Now finds Lucho. Lucho looking for options. Ball in behind for Shaq Moore. Cutback ball towards Musa. On target. Great save from Dos Santos. Tapped in by Leggett. Flag stays down. Dallas lead. San Diego looking stunned here in the second half.
Well, they're not going to call that one back. Look, that one starts with an interception in midfield by Petar Musa. And this is what Dallas wants to do. To get the interception in the right place, immediately get forward, get vertical. The ball goes into Lucho Acosta. Acosta finds a really nice little ball, slipping it into Shaq Moore, making the overlapping run. His centering ball, again, on target, on point. Petar Musa points it toward goal. Knocked away by Dos Santos, but he spills it. Leggett there at about 4 yards to put it home.
First goal of the season for Du Bois. Well, our producer Sam Hale before the game was saying just get in and around where Petar Musa takes his shots. Worked for Bernie Kamungo at Kansas City. It's worked for Sebastian Leggett here, and that is the benefit of just getting numbers forward into the box. If it's just Petar Musa inside the 18, that's not a goal for Dallas. But the industry of their number 8 leading to his first goal of the season, leading to a 2-1 advantage.
Well, Sam Hale asked earlier, you know, what are we going to learn about this team? Here's what you want to learn right now, that this team has a killer instinct. San Diego's tired. San Diego has come off a big win in Vancouver. They've traveled a long way. They don't have a lot on the bench. This team is vulnerable. They didn't close the first half well, that is the visitors. Right now, can you really pour it on them? Can you really let them have it here?
What does San Diego have in terms of a counter punch? Speaking of a punch, Acosta's gone down in the middle of the field, something away from the play with Sverkov. Acosta claiming there was an elbow, and the referee clearly saw something. He did whistle for a foul.
He was right on top of it. I think Sverkov's going to get at least a booking here. We'll see if there's anything else. I don't think there will be.
Guido Gonzalez Jr. in conversation with the San Diego captain. Long conversation.
Well, Sverskov was mad about getting kicked a moment before by Acosta.
Looks like after all of that, no card out of the pocket of the referee. It does have a lower than average card rate in his over 100 games in Major League Soccer, which can be a good or a bad thing. As we always say, that what matters is that you're consistent.
I like the way Guido Gonzalez is handling this right now, because he's just taking a moment, making sure he sort of brings the temperature down for everybody.
Well, it's turned the San Diego possession into a Dallas free kick just a few yards into the San Diego half. Patrickson standing over it, doesn't really see any options. Eventually fires it out to Farfan. Just quickly closed down by Dreyer. Farfan tiptoeing up the sideline, puts the ball in behind. Leggett will give chase. McVeigh there first. And Leggett again pressing, emptying the tank there. Fresh off of that first goal of the season for him. Valakari out to Verhoeven. Back across to Pilcher. Mentioned in the first half, San Diego yet to throw away a lead this season. They haven't even dropped 2 points and gone from a win to a draw. Shaq Moore now quickly booked for shielding Mighton away from the play, and that's frustrating, particularly in light of that Sverkov incident moments ago. Consistency.
Yeah, in that case, Mighton had was trying to make a run in behind Shaq Moore, and he interrupted the run. Shaq Moore right now having a conversation with Mighton, saying, "Yeah, I got you, but you sure sold it, didn't you?" Sort of making that big grand motion, showing how Mighton tried to buy the foul.
I'm not as concerned about Mighton against Shaq Moore on a yellow card, but I am concerned about Chucky Lozano against the tiring Shaq Moore on a yellow card at some point later on in this game.
Well, that's where you think if you can really just apply the pressure here, get another goal, they might just decide that it's not worth putting Lozano in.
Here's some space now for Oloski. Oloski chop ball into the 18 for Angel. Abubakar is shielding it all the way. Last touch out off the Dallas center back. Even if he doesn't agree, it's going to be a corner. Sam Hale confirming for us that Lozano is warming up down with the subs for San Diego. Got a corner kick for Oloski. I prefer the in-swinger here. It's going to be the right foot. The 25-year-old towards the back post. Martin Paas, nice two-handed claim. He rolls it out to Abubakar. Out to Farfan. Dallas leading 2-1 here in the 61st minute. Farfan goes with the nutmeg on Valakari in towards Leggett. Leggett can't keep it. And now there's two up the right side for San Diego. Verhoeven whips the cross in over everybody's head. Shaq Moore will retrieve it. Down the line for Acosta. Acosta gets it back to Moore. Moore with options ahead. Kamungo making the run. And flag stays down for now. This was close. Kamungo on it now inside the 18 along the right side. Kamungo right-footed ball is blocked. Flag still staying down. And then eventually Kamungo commits the foul. I think it was pretty clear that he was offside, but the linesman was at a full sprint there trying to get going, so maybe just didn't quite spot it.
I think he did. I think he probably just delayed the flag too long. But what was clear to me is Shaq Moore just got to play that ball earlier. If he plays the ball earlier, he looks up. Bernie Kamungo is still 5 feet inside his defensive half. Then he took the extra touch, and that meant Bernie Kamungo kept running and did put himself into the offside position.
Well, whether it's been down to him or not, you haven't seen a ton of Kamungo tonight. Wonder if Leo Chu gets an opportunity. Or if they go deeper in the depth chart, maybe Sarver, who's been called up from North Texas, but is in good form at that level.
I think I would want to see Logan Farrington at that spot.
Came in on the right on Wednesday and certainly had a good impact in the game.
Bernie Kamungo is doing a lot of defensive work over there as well.
Sabalang, pass blocked. Kamungo loses out there. Valakari tries the through ball, blocked by Sabalang. Dallas in possession here in their own half. Patrickson, just a loose pass straight out of play. It's been a little bit rough around the edges tonight, to say the least, Patrickson.
Yeah, he's not having the game he was the other night. Even when he's accurate, there's a lot of lateral balls tonight, which is sort of an old habit of his. Felt like he was better the last couple of games.
McVeigh brings it forward through the middle, and Sabalang reads the pass, intercepts. Abubakar out to Farfan. Difficult one to deal with, and Dreyer's quickly onto him. Dreyer swings the ball in. Angel wins the header, and it's blocked by Alvaro behind for a corner. It's just, if you concede a worldly to Anders Dreyer, that's one thing, but please don't be the architects of your own downfall tonight. Farfan stayed down momentarily to stretch. Well, now he's back up.
I think Gallup's looking a little tired right now too. It's hot tonight.
San Diego going to spring a short corner here into Verhoeven. Right-footed ball swung in. Alvaro wins the header, and Sabalang volley's clear. Ball ahead to Mighton, edge of the 18, volleyed back to Oloski. Oloski shot blocked by Shaq Moore. Left-footed ball swung in from Pilcher towards the back post. Header won by Angel. Abubakar, volley's clear. Pressure mounting.
I don't think Abubakar or Alvaro have had a whole lot to deal with tonight, but I think they've both been pretty good.
Dallas deep defensively right now. The line set just a yard or so outside the 18. There's a ball forward for Valakari, closed down by Alvaro, edge of the box, down wide left for Mighton. Ball swung in, Paas, two-handed punch, diving, sends it clear. Now Leggett ahead to Musa. Dropped off for Lucho, out wide for Kamungo. Kamungo onto his left foot, spots the run of Musa, tripped up as he released it, found Leggett instead, out to Petter Musa on the far side. Switching ball, looking for Lucho, under hit, and easily picked off by Bombino. And Kamungo has stayed down here. And stop play to check on him.
I didn't see the contact if there was any.
Well, Kamungo's going to need assistance.
Oh, I saw it there. Looked like Bombino got into him.
And that's going to force the hand of Eric Quill. He will bring Logan Farrington into the match. Otherwise, if Kamungo is able to continue, he'd have to wait off the field for 2 minutes. But the man you wanted to see, Steve, up off the bench, Logan Farrington. Particularly in the right wing position, there was about 6 options, actually. If you think about Pedrinho there, even Anthony Ramirez has played there this season at Kansas City. Farrington's name is called here.
Well, look, if you are a young Luca Bombino playing left back, you've had a big game the other day at Vancouver, you traveled, it's hot. I would not want to be the one having to deal with Logan Farrington over there now.
Well, we'd certainly hope that Kamungo didn't suffer any long-term damage with the injury starting to pile up once again. Anderson Julio already out with that hamstring. Suffered on Wednesday.
He's up and jogging around a little bit. I think he's going to come out here, but at least he's up and putting plenty of weight on that foot.
Farrington will enter the match. Goal and an assist on the season for the big dog. In for his 17th game of the year. And play off the right.
I know he didn't play long the other day, but he was absolutely tireless in the minutes when he did play against San Jose.
He can just give them that again. You think there's going to be at least one chance that he can scrap out of work rate alone the way the game has gone. Looks like San Diego readying a change of their own in just a moment. Here's Dreyer. 25 yards from goal, forced backwards by Leggett. Dreyer onto his left foot, finds the ball through the lines. Oloski gets the shot away, blocked, and immediate concern with Lawless Abubakar as he took the shot square to the face, then immediately hops up as the referee waves the training staff on to check on him.
And what you would say is that the Dallas center backs and back line doing pretty well at eliminating danger as it gets around the penalty area. But right now, over the last 15 minutes, San Diego is just finding those passing lanes a little too easily, you know, and a lot of that is because they don't have a true holding midfielder in there that knows how to screen out the passing lanes. It's really it's 3 guys in there that are all attack minded, and Delgado, Siki and Sabeling, and Sebastian Leggett.
Well, Abubakar is on a dead sprint to get off the field and then get back on as quickly as he can. Setting the pace at a difficult one for the athletic training staff to keep up with him. We'll resume with a drop ball. Abubakar off the field. Dallas shifting bodies around to try and survive these seconds without their second center back, as he's now sprinting back on the field. Still out of the play though. Here's a ball through the lines for Oloski inside the 18. Oloski looking for an angle to shoot. Left-footed ball. Finds Valicari inside the box. Mighton now. Abubakar rejoining. Angel throws himself to the ground, and that was a pretty shameless dive. Referee waves him up as Musa sends it clear. And now 3 changes coming on the San Diego side.
Including Chucky Lozano.
Lozano, Negri, and Loffelson. That's pretty much the 3 senior experienced options on the bench.
And Loffelson's kind of their energizer bunny, like Logan Farrington is for FC Dallas.
Farrington doing the defending here against Mighton in the wide area. Mighton looking to use his speed to get past Farrington. He does. He goes down, and he's got a free kick. And again, the yellow card out pretty quickly for Farrington.
I've got to say, I like the way Guido Gonzalez Jr. has managed the match until that moment. I mean, my heavens, it's barely a foul. I don't know what, maybe Gonzalez saw something I didn't see. I mean,
it's a little bit of grappling.
Farrington gets a little bit of the shirt, but he lets it go quickly, and that's a borderline
He just likes
foul.
Alex Mighton right now. He's giving them 2 yellow cards.
That's unfortunate for Logan Farrington.
Now both Dallas right-sided players with Lozano entering the match are on a yellow. They will make the changes now. Bombino off for Negri. And at left back, a straight swap at left wing. Mighton off for Lozano. And at right back, Loffelson in for Verhoeven. Dallas need to spot Lozano right now. He's just camped out on the edge of the 18. Nobody's picked him up. And they do play it short to Chucky Lozano, his first involvement. Rolls it across the 18 to Dreyer. Shot low, blocked there by Sabeling. And volleyed clear. And it's going to be a hold here, I guess, for a check. San Diego appealing for a handball right now across the field. But it's going to go into the water break, which to me means maybe that check is over and complete. Although I wouldn't rule anything out. Dallas have had 2 goals ruled out tonight.
Well, I didn't see anything there on the shot from outside the penalty area. It looked like to me it was Patrickson with a block, and he had his hands behind his back. So I don't know where I would have, where somebody would have seen a handball there.
71st minute, Dallas leading 2-1 here. A home win in their grasp, a home win they desperately need.
So what I said a while ago, you would hope that Dallas would have really applied the pressure, but it sort of didn't happen. So now the game has changed as San Diego has made 3 attack-minded changes. Little water squirt gun out there being deployed.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. 2 of them. Everybody getting a cool, refreshing, spritzy squirt.
Well, FC Dallas is celebrating 30 years in Major League Soccer. The club is commemorating its most iconic moments, kits, players, and more. You can visit fcdallas.com/30 to relive the most important moments, storylines, and more. You stay right here on the FC Dallas app or YouTube channel, wherever you're listening. After every match, we take you for a deep dive into the previous 90 minutes. It's the FC Dallas postgame show here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. If you've already got 4th of July plans, you won't be able to make it to the match, consider turning on the radio wherever you are. We'll have the broadcast for you as FC Dallas hosts Minnesota United. Pre-game coverage starting at 7 o'clock for that one here on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
They're still wearing jackets on the bench the other day in Minnesota, so they're not going to be used to what they're going to find here.
Patrickson wins a foul from Valakari.
All right, so Dallas now with a chance to clear their lines, have a little possession, push San Diego back a little bit. And they need to do that. They need to get some possession here.
Shackamore's just left it for Alvaro to take. And the referee came over and made it clear that Dallas can't be doing that any longer.
So instead of possession, Dallas just knocks the ball up and loses it immediately. And Shackamore does have to be careful there.
Lozano 2 goals, 2 assists against Dallas in San Diego earlier in the season. Got to be one of the scariest players you can see coming off the bench late in the game with his electric pace. Farrington, Dallas has entered into that category. On it in the press, wins it back. Now Lucho on the ball, sees the run of Farrington in behind. Farrington along the right side, beats Pilcher to it. Now chops back, didn't see runners there in time. Now finds Shaq Moore along the right side. Ball swung in, seeking Sabeling, knocks it down. Here's Sebastian Lletget inside the area. Shot towards the back post as Musa arriving. And he's clattered into Pilcher there, commits the foul. May have been a flag up anyway. Good involvement from Farrington up the right side, leading to all of that.
I thought Farrington had a cross there. I thought he'd reach the ball in time. Maybe he just didn't think he could cut it back. Musa was arriving at about the 12, but moving at top speed like that, it is a tough play to sort of really twist yourself around.
Dreyer mishits that one back towards Dos Santos. Santos out to Pilcher, closed down by Lucho, who blocks the ball and retrieves it here in the corner, goes down and wins a free kick.
A nice job here from the crowd, really sort of giving their team a lift. Supporter section over there, good voice, nice job.
Credit to the crowd. I mean, the team hasn't given them a ton to get behind this season at home, and they'd be the first ones to say that, but It feels like a full home atmosphere right now.
Well, Dallas is giving them a lead right here.
Can they find a potential dagger here in the 76th minute? Up 2-1. Lucho Acosta standing over this wide free kick. Just a few yards from the corner flag on the near side.
Need a good delivery here.
It's Acosta whipping it in. Headed away at the near post by Valakari. Sabling onto the loose ball, switching it back out towards Acosta, but he underhit it, and there's a counterattack on. It's Lozano out in space. Patrickson backtracking. Lozano now driving from outside to in, through the middle, spots Iloski on the far side. Iloski, edge of the 18, into Dreyer, back out to Iloski, right-footed ball towards the back post, and it's tapped home. It's Chucky Lozano with the impact off the bench. And the set piece that went in for Dallas leads to the counter, and it's the all-star winger for San Diego to finish it off.
Yeah, it starts on that underhit ball from Siki and Sabling. As Chucky Lozano collects the ball out at the midfield stripe, Delgado's on him, and I'm just thinking to myself, boy, I wish he would just foul him right here, stop this counterattack, but Delgado doesn't, and on it goes over the right side, and then in the end, Chucky Lozano just splits the right back, Shaq Moore, and one of the center backs.
Oh, here's Peter Musa right through the middle from kickoff, tried to take it himself. He split the two midfielders, but not the two center backs. He tried that on Wednesday and got a shot away off of it, just going from the kickoff. Well, some of that energy in the building certainly deflated with that Lozano goal. Does Dallas have a late response here? 78th minute, 2-2. Didn't find the killer third goal when they had the ascendancy and the momentum. Lozano bringing life off the bench for Mikey Varas in San Diego. Valakari picking it up in the left back spot, lifts this one over the top for the run of Hale. This one out towards Martin Poss, who's way out off his line, diving header clear. Quickly picked up by Negri. 1-2 with Lozano up the left side. Negri going to try and catch Martin Poss out as he was retreating. Would have been something to stop him to the neighbors about if he pulled it off. Poss long towards Musa. Musa wants a foul, nothing given, as McVeigh wins that battle. Dreyer into Lozano. Those two have such a kinship, understanding in the attacking areas. That's what killed Dallas and San Diego earlier this season. Good work from Shaq Moore there, just shielding it behind for a goal kick. Getting DPs on the same wavelength, it seems easy on paper, and it almost never is. And it's been a seamless fit.
It's not always easy to pick the right DPs, much less get them on the same wavelength.
San Diego encouraged by the recent goal, putting the pressure higher up the field. Alvaro goes long. Leggett will give chase. Pilcher back to Dos Santos. Santos out to Pilcher. Sabling there steps in on Valakari, and the late whistle for a foul.
Right now, players unfamiliar with each other, some out of position. Dallas just not really looking organized, defending or attacking.
And Dreyer spotted the moment here on the far side, calling for it, now on it. Loffelson goes on the overlap, quickly back to Dreyer. Dallas getting bodies back defensively. Dreyer 1-2 with Sverkov inside of Farfan, pokes it wide right, low ball swung in. Abubakar able to cut it out, back out towards Orlovsky. Shot blocked by Patrickson, now across dugout over the top from Loffelson and behind for a goal kick.
Eric Quill looking at the subs. He's got to do something right now to regain some control of this match, because it's the last 15 minutes is all San Diego.
The super sub of the season so far has been Pedrinho. He's over there. Leo Chu over there as well. Martin Poss dollying on it for a moment inside the 18. Now over to Alvaro. Patrickson, first time ball forward. Breaks nicely for Farrington. Can't connect with Musa. Dallas struggling for any possession right now.
Well, right now, one of the issues is that Nolan Norris was really doing well as that single pivot. They don't have that right now, and Dallas can't really get out of the back cleanly.
Acosta gets turned, spots the run of Farrington along the right side. Farrington, corner of the box on the right. Step over, gets to his right foot, looking for an angle. Now forced back, picks out Petr Musa, who's trailing the play. Musa back heel for Lucho. Lucho trying to manipulate the ball there past Figert, and he's won a foul. Not sure how much there really was in it. Figert certainly disagreed with the decision. But this one in a good area. Trying to put the ball in the box for Lucho Acosta. Yards outside the 18, off to the right side. Dallas committing everybody forward. San Diego with the full complement back on defense.
Ryan, quickly, Logan Farrington keeps finding that half space on the right side, that right center channel, but Petr Musa's got to get in there a little bit quicker. Got to give him a target. He keeps looking up, and Musa's trailing the play.
Two-man wall for San Diego. Acosta lifts it into the box over the head of Alvaro, over the head of Abubakar, picked up at the back post. Leggett sets up Farfan. Now wide with Farrington. Farrington trying to get turned, eventually wins the throw.
Here comes Pedrinho.
He's been the break glass in case of emergency in some of these road game comebacks this season.
Now the question is, who does he come in for? You're thinking maybe Leggett.
Dallas building up on the far side with Leggett. Trying to back heel for Farfan. Can't connect. Patrickson stepping in the lane, loses out though, and the break is on. Three players up the right side for San Diego. Everybody streaming back defensively for Dallas. It's wide with Anders Dreyer. Elowski to the left. Elowski on it inside the 18. If he can keep it in play, he just about does, but he forces himself wide to the corner flag. Now picks up Dreyer. Edge of the 18-yard box, back to Sverkov. Dreyer one-on-one here with Patrickson inside the 18. Patrickson pokes it away a couple of times. San Antonio maintained possession. San Diego, sorry. Dreyer onto his left foot, bending ball in over the head of Angel and just out of the reach of Chucky Lozano, who just absolutely destroyed Martin Pass's water bottle. For me, that's got to be a yellow card. Just totally unnecessary.
I didn't see what he did. Did he kick it? Stop on it?
He punted it. Well, Martin Pass will be water bottle-less the rest of the way. Farrington, nice work to hold off Negri and get turned along the right side. He's taking the space afforded to him here. Now pokes it infield for Lucho. Lucho with Siki and Sabling alongside him. Now it's Siki through the lines looking for Leggett. Pass intercepted, breaks for Dreyer. Dreyer spots the run of Elowski early, but Elowski not on the same page.
Right now, Siki and Sabling looks like a player who really hasn't played much lately. He's just not quite as sharp as we usually see him with the ball.
Pedrinho waiting to enter the match. And Sabling on it. Wide to Farrington, set back for Moore. Lozano tried to hop the passing lane. Moore keeps possession. Patrickson sees the run of Musa. Ball over the top for Musa. Header won by McVeigh. Not a bad attempt that time.
Problem is Musa was pretty isolated as he received that ball.
Loffelson and to Elowski centrally. Has an assist tonight. And with his incredible goal-scoring streak in recent games. Dreyer wide for Loffelson. One of three substitutes here in the second half for Mikey Varas. On it once again towards the byline. Cut back ball. Deflected off of Patrickson and comfortably for Martin Pass. Pass surveys the options, rolls it out to Abubakar. Farfan down the line for Leggett. Nobody really there making the run, able to stretch the field. Leggett may be tiring here as Pedrinho waits to enter the match. Negri, ball across, low ball sent in. Negri on it again inside the 18, again sent across the edge of the 6, stabbed away by Farfan, cleared away by Alvaro. Relentless pressure right now. It's Dreyer. on his left foot. Back to McVeigh, back to Dreyer. Bending ball into Negri, first time ball, back across. Fairkopf pokes it towards Lozano along the right side. Lozano fizzes that one across, and it should have been a goal. Angel late to react.
Dallas looks like the tired team right now. They just can't push the ball and play in San Diego's end well enough.
And will be Leggett off, Pedrinho on. Leggett with a goal tonight. An overall nice impact in midfield from the veteran, but does Pedrinho have the magic in his boots to win the game? Moore launches it long towards Musa. Header won by McVeigh, but knocks it down for Pedrinho. Here's his first involvement. Turns past Loffelson. Ball ahead to Petter Musa, right to his feet. Petter Musa, drop of the shoulder over to Lucho Acosta off the left side. Poked again into Musa, back to Lucho. Inside the 18 now. Doug digs out the cross. Headed away at the back post by Negri. And now Dreyer trying to go early to spot the run of Lozano. Martin Pass alert to it, out off his line. Great first touch from him into Shaq Moore, but then Shaq Moore turns it over. And Sabling makes up for the mistake and wins possession back for Dallas. This game opening up. And Sabling spotted the run of Farrington, tried to poke it over the top of the back line.
He didn't have to complicate it. All he had to do was play the ball into his into the line of the run.
And here's Dreyer, ball in between the lines. Lozano, was he the one to foul Alvaro? They say it's the other way around. The offside flag is up anyway. Alvaro had position, but that's one of those that if the attacker can just sneak in front, you've seen them go in a bad way. But Lozano did leave early.
I feel like maybe Alvaro didn't understand where Chucky Lozano was. Didn't understand he was sneaking in off his back shoulder. Because Lozano just put on a little burst of speed and just about got position there.
Alvaro, nice ball ahead to Acosta. Good flick to Musa. Musa with time and space to get turned. Fires it out to the right side for Logan Farrington. Farrington, corner of the 18. Drops off for Lucho. Lucho at the controls. 1-2 with Farrington. Into Pedrinho. Back to Lucho. Runs into Pilcher. Pedrinho keeps it alive. McVeigh sliding tackle off of Farfan. Breaks for Pedrinho once again. Towards the corner flag on the far side. Pedrinho feeling himself here late off the bench. Acosta gets a second chance at it. Three players around him. Did he get it towards Abubakar? Just about. It's going to spin in play for Marco Farfan, who will win a throw. Taken quickly into Acosta. Bending ball in towards the back post. Farrington was waiting there, headed away by Pilcher. Farfan up the left side's won a corner. Dallas now, just like they did in the first half, building pressure towards the end of the game. It's been the season trend for San Diego that they've been excellent in the final 15 minutes of the half, but maybe this Texas Heat is just a different beast.
You can build the pressure, but you gotta keep it there. You gotta keep on it.
Fans up out of their seats in the Hall of Fame into Toyota Stadium, awaiting this service from Lucho Acosta. Two arms raised for the Dallas captain. Thought about going short to Musa. Thought better of it as San Diego committed two players to shut it down. So take two for Acosta in towards the near post. It gets all the way through, somehow beat the first man, but nobody there to pounce for Dallas. And the speed of Lozano unable to keep it in play for San Diego. We're about to find out how much stoppage time will play. It was 7 minutes in the first half, with a goal apiece. A water break, a VAR check, a couple disallowed goals. It may be similar, if not more, here in the second. Moore into the lines to Musa. Great flick into the path of Sabling, and Sabling cuts past his man. Can he get the shot away? Loses his footing at the crucial moment. It's still not cleared. Eventually picked up by Dos Santos. Bodies on the line for San Diego as Sabling made a great run out of midfield, but he couldn't profit from it.
Well, it's a nice little flick, brilliant little flick from Petter Musa that puts Siki and Sabling in. He dribbles one player, then he just sort of loses his balance.
I'll tell you what, there's a potential foul on Musa in there, but it's not going to be checked. 9 minutes added. And in some ways, the season may hinge on these 9 minutes. The home win has to come. This 3-game home stretch, losing 4-2 against San Jose on Wednesday, Minnesota United await on the 4th of July on Friday.
I mean, if they can't get a goal here, you're going to go 3 full months without a home win.
San Diego, of course, with their own intentions at the other end. Dreyer back to Pilcher. Alicari out to Negri. Pilcher wide for Lozano. A little too much space here for Chucky Lozano, and Sabalenko sliding in, and he's going to be the latest to pick up a yellow card for FC Dallas. Pretty easy decision, I think, that time. And now a free kick opportunity for San Diego, where they can send this into the box.
Going to be Dreyer at about 35 yards, left side.
Right arm raised, left-footed service. This one comfortable for Martin Pass. And bails out Dallas on that occasion. Quickly fires it out to Lucho Acosta. Acosta sees Pedrinho, who's got Logan Farrington making the run in behind along the right side. Pedrinho busting a gut to join him now. Farrington into the 18, tries to go through the legs of Negri, back on it now. Last touch was off the former Oregon State man and behind for a goal kick.
That's about the 3rd time Logan Farrington, just through aggressive play, has put himself right at the corner of that penalty area, right side. He's just not a winger. He just doesn't have that one move to try to get around the corner. But, you know, credit to him for just finding the spots and getting the attack going, making the run.
Direct ball intercepted by Alvaro, intended for Lozano. Dallas with numbers in the attack if they go quickly. Pedrinho out wide for Shaq Moore. San Diego getting numbers back. Pedrinho back to Moore. Moore bending the ball in towards the back post. It's Musa! Oh, it's over the bar. That may have been the moment.
That was the moment. Shaq Moore, all along, he sees Musa, back post. Musa tells him where he wants the ball. Shaq Moore puts the ball right there. Musa on a full head of steam, full moose, and he just blazes it over the bar at about 7 yards.
Oh, he beat Lawfulson easily.
Oh, he's got Lawfulson in no man's land.
Still 6 minutes to play. That was a huge chance for Musa to grab his second of the game and put Dallas back in front.
I would have bet a week of your salary, Ryan, figured that he would he'd make that shot. All he has to do is aim the ball down, and he's got so much power on it because the pace of the ball is there for Moore.
You're not risking much then, are you? At least on a personal level. Pass launches a punt long. Lawfulson wins the header. All the way back to Dos Santos. 4 minutes of the 9 added on. Costa stepping the pressure up here against Dos Santos into Sverikov. And now Pilcher has to be clean under pressure here. Finds the ball into the feet of Lozano. He's got Shaq Moore trailing him. Lozano, good combination, springs Lawfulson on the far side. Will bring it into the Dallas half. He's got options either way. Dreyer out to his right. Lawfulson puts the ball in behind. He just got that one all wrong. That's a let off for Dallas. And perhaps why Lawfulson is down the depth chart behind multiple teenagers at the fullback position right now for San Diego.
Well, I've always liked Lawfulson's industry, going back to when he was at Real Salt Lake, but the technical quality, as you see there, just sometimes not there from him. You get an honest effort, though.
Pass out to Shaq Moore. Bring it up the right side. Into Nsabling. A big chance as well. In the final minutes of regulation, he couldn't take it. Finds Lucho Acosta. Nice ball to pick up Pedrinho here in a central position. Pedrinho 25 yards out on his left foot. Puts it in behind for Farrington. Low shot. Saved by Dos Santos.
It's one of the nicest moves of the second half for FC Dallas. Really good combination play there. And in the end, the ball is on Farrington's left foot, and he just doesn't get enough power behind it at about 12 yards, right dead center.
Dallas has been so good in first and second half stoppage time. Can they make it count?
Well, they've been good for about the first 110 yards of the field.
Just haven't had the killer final touch. Even the goal was a shot right at Dos Santos, bounced back to Sebastian Lletget. They may get one more go at it. San Diego likewise with Anders Dreyer at the other end. Here he is. Sverkov. Wide for Loffelson. Farfan closing him down into Dreyer inside the 18. Low ball sent across. It's on Hale. It's on Hale into the roof of the net. A front flip to the corner flag for Tomas Angel. It's 3-2 San Diego.
Juan Pablo Angel, somewhere he's smiling. Famous MLS goal scorer. That's his son. And, you know, I said a while ago, just Dallas not looking organized defensively, and I've said it all second half, the lanes are just too easy for San Diego to pick out, and this time it's 2 passing lanes. It's Dreyer, he gets the ball, he's got all kinds of space to turn, and then nobody's marking Angel. When he gets the ball at about 8 yards out, he's got time to take a touch, turn. It's Alvaro trying to close him down, but can't get there quick enough, and Dallas in a world of hurt here.
San Diego going to get their last change into the game, and that's Ima Boateng. And for Dallas, who were building pressure at one end, concede the gut punch at the other. And it's gone from a point, which in different circumstances you wouldn't mind, to another defeat at home. Orlowski off for Ima Boateng. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes of stoppage time to play for Dallas to try and snatch something, and Boubacar's gone up front as a makeshift number 9 as Paz brings it forward on the dribble. Launches it long. Musa and Farrington underneath it. Musa took a shove in the back, nothing given. Acosta loses out to Boateng. Moore bending the ball in, looking for Abubakar, headed away by Pilcher. Header won by Patrickson in midfield. Boateng and Sverkov get caught up under each other, but Dallas can't win back possession. Now Negri, ball ahead towards Angel. Alvaro steps in front. Sabalang into the feet of Abubakar, who's playing number 10 right now. Over to Pedrinho. Pedrinho out wide for Marco Farfan. They're going to try and turn the corner here against Loffelson, who maintains position and able to shield it behind for a goal kick. And Dos Santos seems to have forgotten where all the extra balls went. As he readies this goal kick with maybe a minute remaining in stoppage time. San Diego a minute or so away from completing a perfect road trip at Minnesota, at Vancouver, and at Dallas. Dos Santos will launch it long. And play on for the moment. Alvaro got a piece of it, not much. And Lozano will shield it out of play.
The body language for FC Dallas players, understandably, absolutely gutted, dispirited, dejected.
Taking towards the 100th minute now as Negri takes the throw. Angel, the winning goal as things stand. Boateng out to Negri, back to Angel. Loses out there. Now Musa flicked back towards Acosta, trying to get turned. Fistful of jersey there for Tomas Angel. And referee just too slow to react for me there. Allowed Valakari to interrupt things, and Dallas is trying to get on with it. He's now shown a couple of yellow cards. And Martin Paz will make his way forward to join the attack for this potentially final throw of the dice.
Including yellow card to Acosta. That means he's now 1 yellow card away from suspension himself.
Everybody forward here. This Lucho Acosta free kick. He goes down the line for Farrington. Farrington trying to hold it up. He's got 3 players around him now. Sends the low ball in, and Sabaling inside the box. And Sabaling towards the end line. And it's sent away by Valicari, and that will do it. The home woes continue for FC Dallas. Had chances to win it, but go on to lose it late. We'll talk about it on the post-game show. I thank you for joining us here on the FC Dallas Radio Network tonight. This one ends San Diego FC 3, FC Dallas 2.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Marco Farfan, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 90-plus minutes at Toyota Stadium, FC Dallas is still searching for their second home win of the MLS campaign as they come back to fall 3-2 to Western-leading San Diego FC. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas post-game show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in a little while by the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But let's start first with the post-game highlight. It didn't start well for Dallas